Avast ahoy and g'day once again to ye mateys! I be your studious and hard-working host, Josh the Pirate, and it brings me enough joy that I could ride it majestically into the sunset to welcome me back to Corsair's Cove and Mano a Mano. With me I have my darling wife, the beautiful, talented and very, very tired Karen! Black Angel, thank you so much for the raid, you bloody champion. Good way to start the evening. Yes, welcome raiders back to this is Ep 1 of Season 2 of our 1v1 DM versus player campaign. I am back in the DM seat, which is going to be interesting because we are in Bottledown and I've never actually run anything in Bottledown. It's all been Karen's creations so far. No sex dungeon today, Black Angel. No, sadly not. Lizelle, good to see you as well. Who else have we got? I saw another first, and the Baker Cam. The Baker Cam or the Baker Cam. Good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us, all of you bloody champions. So, time for horrors. What a way to kick it off. Exactly right. Well, Karen, who the absolute heck are you?
Well, as previously mentioned, I am very, very tired. I am also Karen. I'm a performer and writer, and most of the time I'm also Josh's wife. Except for Saturdays when we get his other wife in, who's Karen with an A.
Karen Schling.
Yeah.
Karen Walker.
Karen Walker,
my actual wife.
My nom de plume. I just realized that joke makes no sense to other people without context. No. Basically, Josh and I went to, he was working, this is when you were still working for the funeral company, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went to the Christmas party, and not only did they misspell my name as Karen as opposed to Karen, they never actually checked if I took Josh's surname. So I was Karen Walker.
I was there with Karen Walker. Everyone's like, who the heck is that?
Yeah, who's Karen Walker? Where is Karen Schling supposed to sit? But
it's like, that was the third or fourth time that had happened. Like, the people had just assumed and that we were both Walkers. Yeah. Spoilers.
We had a few letters to Mr. and Mrs. J.K. Walker.
I particularly enjoy it when I get phone calls like, is this Mr. Skalink? Because it's Karen's surname is fairly unusual. It is a German name, and obviously a lot of Indian people who are working in telemarketing aren't particularly good at pronouncing it, and all of our bills are in Karen's name. So whenever they call, it's always asking for Mr. and Mrs. Slink. But so they assume I'm Mr. Skalink. And I say, no, that's my father-in-law. Who are you and what do you want from me? Cool. And yes.
In fairness to the Indian telemarketers, most Australians can't pronounce my surname either.
No, that's fair. Schlink. S-C-L-H.
S-C-H-L-A-N-K.
That's the one. No, I can't spell it. One of my co-workers is named Josh Walker.
That's amazing.
There is 4 Joshua Walkers in WA. I know this because somebody was calling around looking for us. Someone had lost. It was the police. Someone had handed in a lost bank card. And there was, he's like, look, I just started. It's Mr. Joshua L. Walker. So there are 4 Joshua L. Walkers in WA. I was like, that's cool. Not me. Sorry, buddy. I'm not with ANZ. It's definitely a lot of phonemes all in just one syllable. Cool. I'm not actually up on what. Hey, Bishop Blood, good to see you. Alright, yes, and I be Josh the Pirate. No one knows my real surname. I am Josh the Pirate, and this is my channel, which I run with my lady tired wife, Karen, the mother of bunnies.
You didn't put up my thing.
I didn't put up your thing. Yeah, I'll put it.
No, you didn't. How dare you?
You are. I was just focused on how tired you were.
I know, and I am very tired. So.
And we do this, and you know that because you've done that and you've joined us already. Smash the follow button and stick around because we're going to do some silly storytelling. Link, that is. Yeah, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's the one. And Karen and I do Paparotica at Fringe World and There Be Dragons, the podcast. We do a lot of things together. We're very fortunate in that we like doing a lot of the same things. My recommendation for a happy marriage, find somebody who's weird in the same way you are. And cooks. And owns a Maserati.
Oh shit! Sorry, mine got written off. I thought we
Yeah. Oh look, never mind. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Lizelle, I'm on the other side of the world. It's probably not that but it's probably not that uncommon a name. I'm just agreeing with you. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Splendid. Well, that's who we are. Now, we must also remind our kind, generous, and possibly even charitable audience to please like, follow, and subscribe to all the things. We have all the socials. We have the YouTube. It is fully up to date. In fact, I'm getting it even more up to date because I'm now putting up the Tactics Tuesday stuff as well. Phew. And we have the Discord. What?
Hold the man's face before you sneeze.
Yeah. So yeah, you can join us on our Court of Dis. That would be groovy if you did. And if you want to, you join our Discord, I will verify you, and then you'll be able to see the subclass, the monster I homebrewed on Tuesday, the Inkling. I'm quite fond of, and I want to find a time to use. What else do we need to talk about? Karen, could you tell us about Ukraine?
I can. Ukraine has not been having a good year. You may have heard that there's a whole lot of Russians there with guns and bombs, and it's not been going well for anybody. And a number of Ukrainians have quite sensibly packed up and got the hell out of Ukraine. But this does come with its own set of problems. So the link in chat is for the Emergency Action Appeal. It is a group of charities and not-for-profits who have banded together specifically to support Ukrainian refugees. So if you have some spare change rattling around your digital wallet, you can follow the link in chat and give what you can. If you have already given, you're amazing. We love you. If you can't afford to give, that's okay. It's free to shitty you for finances, so don't feel bad if you're not in a position to be charitable right now. We get you. But if you have and you can, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We also need to shout out Sirenscape for our music. That's what's gracing your ear holes right now, except if you're Karen. I don't know if Karen can hear the music.
I totally forgot to turn it on, so no, I can't hear anything.
And we also need to mention our new affiliate link for Wooten Forge. If you are interested in supporting an amazing West Australian business that creates beautiful Australian handcrafted wooden tabletop accessories like this beautiful thing right here, what I am holding, and who are, Karen, I heard today, on board for sponsoring this year's International Talk Like Josh the Pirate Day, which is very, very cool.
Yes, we are doing that again.
Yeah, we are. I have begun. Don't worry, I have begun actually, lining stuff up.
That's in September, right? And it's almost September.
Yeah, the 19th of September. Woo! Yeah, if you want to purchase any of their beautiful products like this gorgeous Jarrah dice box, this is the rolling tray, this is the dice keeper, and they're magnetically on top of one another, and I do almost all of my rolling for the channel on it. You can. It's there. Click on the link, wootenforge.com/Corsairs Cove. It'll take you there, and if you do that, you also wind up supporting a cheeky little West Australian Twitch channel as well. So that'd be groovy of you if you did. Do we need to talk about anything else? Well, you should probably have a bit of a recap. Hey, it's been a hot minute since the last time we did this.
Yeah.
So yeah, Karen, what the heck happened last time, Miss DM?
Miss DM, oh god. This is testing my brain. Okay, so at the request of the Council of Bottledown, you with some members of the Guard went back upstream to the smuggler's house, den, place of retreat, cave, I don't know. You went back up there basically to capture the remaining smugglers and bring them to justice.
Yes.
Which you did quite successfully.
Yeah.
You captured most of the crew, though some of them died defending their ship.
We killed about 2/3 of them, but we did capture a few, yeah.
Oh, okay, you killed more than I remembered.
I think it was we saved 4 of them, I want to say.
Yeah, you definitely killed the wizard, the captain.
Yeah. We captured the bosun.
Bosun was captured.
The bosun.
You also discovered a elven prisoner.
Yeah.
A sea elf. called Oceanus, who was very grateful to be rescued from the cupboard of chains they were keeping him in. There was also some lizard folk on board, but you didn't get to meet them because you didn't go into their room, and they clearly had no interest in coming out and getting into a shit fight. Oh. And then they snuck off the boat overnight.
Because we rolled horribly for our perception checks.
Terribly.
Ridiculous.
I hadn't set a super high DC for it because I'm like, logically it would be super hard for them to creep off the ship without you noticing. But
everybody was like, "Oh, I'm really tired from all that fighting I just did."
Yeah, everyone was so tired.
Yeah,
so the lizard folk made an escape, but you did find out from the crew that one of the things they were smuggling was weapons for the lizard folk.
Well, we didn't find out from the crew. We found the weapons that they were smuggling in a secret compartment. Yeah.
Yes.
And we inferred that they were smuggling them to the lizard folk, but that might not necessarily be correct. Yeah.
So now you're the DM. You can just go read the book if you want.
I have read the book. I know what happened.
But yeah, and then you had a relatively uneventful trip back to town. We
took the sea ghost back with us as well.
Yes,
the name
you took
of the
boat
ship.
back.
Handed it over because we have no need of a boat.
No, you don't really. Yeah, and you were lavished with praise and gold for your services.
More gold than we really needed, actually. So Karen and I have made an executive decision to actually tone down the amount of gold they've got.
Yeah, so just taking the level of filthy rich down a notch, because they could both retire at this point if we just.
I mean, they still could. Garret and Beryl both have 550 gold pieces each. And Beryl can't even wear anything better armor than what she's already got.
I feel like we need to find some charitable institutions.
You could always buy a +1 suit of armor. Like, you can actually buy better armor than you've got. And, braces of defense and so forth that don't require any of armor abilities at all. That sort of thing you can engage in, and Garret can wear heavy armor.
Garret can get tooled out. But he is, at the end of the day, a scribe.
Yeah.
So...
and technically speaking, an NPC.
Yes. He started glamored
armor, yeah.
Oh yeah, she needs some like blinged out armor, like
hey Ardana.
Costume armor. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Or donate to charity.
Yeah, but we did give like 100 gold pieces each to the two guardsmen that helped us take the ship, and one of whom got badly hurt doing so. He's all right. Like, we brought him back.
Yeah,
but...
the guy almost died. He did a great job, but he almost died.
We got back with Oceanus. The council thought that was great and lavished us with money and praise. And there was a parrot.
There was a parrot. Yes.
That screams pieces of 8 a lot. The captors were pretty grumpy about the whole thing, but I made them a sandwich, as I recall.
Yes, you made toasted bacon sandwiches for everybody except the prisoners who got untoasted ham sandwiches, just to teach them a lesson.
Yeah. One of my BBGs wears that, making himself look like he's just wearing linen tunic and leather pants. Yeah. Bishop Blood suggests you could get filthy rich to the point of being able to buy out a nation in order to enact the change you want to see in the world. Therefore, you could... It's like... We are the change we seek in the world. I bought the change I seek in the world.
Like, I am now the ruler of Bottledown, and we'll be making some changes around here.
We delivered on to the guardsmen the prisoners, and they gave us some money in exchange for the boat. The boat now belongs to the guard, I guess? Well, it belongs to the people of Bottledown.
Basically we said to the council that we would recommend giving it to the guards, so they had a boat.
Yeah.
Which would be handy for them, in their whole, we kind of don't want smugglers in town anymore.
There's that. And then you had lunch before Garret went back to work.
Because he's still got to finish writing out.
Yeah, he only did about a day's work before you were like, right, let's go kill some smugglers.
He's like, smugglers? Well, I'm in. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
So, I think that was a pretty good recap. Thank you, Karen.
No worries. A quick question. Where is Garrett's character sheet? Because I cannot find it.
Don't worry, I've got it.
Okay.
I've got Garret open because I'm currently...
I found Beryl, but for some reason I can't find Garret.
Should be right next to him in the in the campaign. But there we are. All right.
Guess I'm blind then.
Well, mateys, may you charm the local guards wherever you go, and all your menageries contain colourful birds and say pieces of 8. As we head tremendously at first, and then with mounting heat and passion for the first time in a hot minute, back to Telos. So, Beryl, you find yourself quite upsettingly wealthy, and kicking your heels somewhat in the port town of Bottledown, one of a trio of halfling-dominated settlements south of the autocracy of Wrens. They're not part of the autocracy, they're independent state, just at the bottom, little place. You are well liked within the town, known for good music, an impressive though not insurmountable tolerance for liquor, and for ending a local smuggling ring.
Yeah, that's right. We got given the local thing.
Yeah, you got minkied at the monkey.
Yeah.
You have a regular gig, basically whenever you like, playing at one of the local inns, the Wicker Goat, which is the oldest inn in the town, has the dubious honor of being it, and Garret has about 3 days' work left on his gig, doing some transcribing some documents for a local guild. So the big question, first off, what would you be doing with your time?
Look, the thing with being filthy rich when you're a performer is that it brings with it an urge to kit yourself out a bit. So I think Beryl would be in the market for a new outfit.
Oh, a magical outfit or just a normal outfit?
I think she wants it to look like, a suitably flamboyant bardic outfit. But it is secretly, armored. So if she gets stabbed in the chest while wearing it, it has a little more resistance than it might normally have.
So you've got 3 days, really, to sort of... You're aware of this, so you can take your time over this. So, Beryl, make me a first roll of the day. Make me an investigation check. The market in Bottledown is... Because it's a port, even not a particularly big one, but it is a port, stuff comes through here. And you've just forced it to go legit as well. So a lot of stuff that maybe was being smuggled before is now having to be done on the open market. Make me an investigation check. See if you can find anybody who might be selling cool things. I'm going to open the book. But, oof. So you put some feelers out. In fact, I'll give you advantage because everybody likes you.
Cool. You're just gonna have to give me a sec to grab some manual dice, because my computer's decided I'm not rolling digital dice tonight.
Okay. Sounds fun. Yeah, because it's 7. No, great. Oh, I have to tell you about what happened in my Theros campaign yesterday. The level 2 party was faced with Mano. Ooh. Bard tried casting Vicious Mockery, but the Mano just shook it off. Paladin tried to chuck a javelin, but it just bounced off. And the Barbarian rolled up and attacked it with reckless abandon, and rolled a nat 20, bringing the Mano to half HP. The monk then went up and flanked the Mano, and also rolled a nat 20, yeeting the Mano's corpse into the harbor. Wow, that's a quick fight.
Amazing, though.
Yeah. There it is.
So I resisted the word yeet when it first became a thing. I was just like, I'm not saying it. And now I love the word yeet.
I'm quite fond of it, yeah.
It's very expressive. I like it. Okay, manual roll with advantage.
Well, you've already gotten a 7, so you get 1 more.
Hey, it actually finished rolling.
It did roll. I saw it a while ago. I saw it before you went looking, but...
Okay. Well, I just rolled a 2, so...
That's a pair of 2s. You don't find anybody selling anything interesting. Just the thing you're looking for just isn't here, unfortunately. Certainly not that thing. However, Beryl, you do find a tiefling.
Ooh.
A red-skinned devil lady called Captain Zendros. She is not local. Tieflings.
Sorry, what was her name again? Captain?
Zendros. Xendros. She is the head of a trade delegation.
Ooh.
You went looking for trade. You found a trader. She's... have a picture of it if you like as well.
I'm always up for seeing a cool tiefling lady.
That's Captain Zendros.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Tends to wear about light armor, and yeah, she is the head of the faithful quartermasters of Ears. Ears being the name of a minor deity or demon. You encountered some writings on the subject of Ears in one of the books that what's his face, the very proud of himself wizard kept. That Sanballat.
Yes.
Sanballat's books. Sanballat had a book about Ears. So yeah, the faithful quartermasters of Ears are here to try and, yes, establish good trade relations with Saltmarsh. With Bottledown. Saltmarsh isn't a place. And
what book we're using for reference? Who could possibly know? No.
Ooh. Interesting. Yeah. So, she is known to be able to procure things. Known to be very gifted at procuring items. Both the monk and the barbarian are champions of the god of victory. The party had breakfast based on marrow fillets, purified by the paladins, purify food and drink. Oof. Terrifying, Ardana. I always rule that cannibalism is eating any sentient being. It doesn't have to be the same breed as you. Anywho, yes. So Captain Zendros,
That's really the only way to think about it when you're in a world with other kind of sentient races.
Yeah. I was like, well, it's a lizard and I'm not, so that's fine. No, really, it can still beg you not to.
Yes, if it could formulate
ask
communication.
nicely not to.
Did you hear about Gordon Ramsay getting in trouble?
Oh no, he didn't eat people.
No. He would if it was cooked properly. There was a video of him basically looking at lambs, destined for the table.
Uh-huh.
And going, oh, you look yummy. And people were like, oh, that's so horrible that,
You
he
baby
was
lamb. Oh, no, oh. For fuck's sake.
And I'm like, look, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, that's probably upsetting to you. But if you're a meat eater, you need to be, realistic about where that meat comes from.
Knowledgeable about what you're eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the things we eat are pretty cute.
Yeah.
Baby cows are very cute.
Very, very cute. And delicious.
Yeah. Baby chickens, super cute. Rabbit's cute generally. Fucking lovely meat.
And in Australia, it's practically, a national service to eat rabbit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we got so many of them.
Particularly in Queensland.
Or anywhere, really.
Well,
I remember, if you know anything about rabbits in Australia, you know that they're a massive problem that we've really only moderately got under control, relatively recently. But there's still tons of them.
Yeah.
So many rabbits. Even
Bishop Blood, I've had squirrel.
Oh.
Honestly, pretty good. I'm not surprised.
Crocodile is surprisingly nice.
Crocodile's lovely. Yeah.
Crocodile's...
Tastes like chicken.
But it's got a richer flavor than chicken.
Yeah. I think it depends a lot on what you fed it.
Chickens, probably.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I was like, my suspicion is because my dad had one and I tried it and I was like, you see, that's fishy at a different place. And I suspect they acquired the crocodile, they probably caught it rather than farmed it. But this one, the one I had, was farmed.
Eating wild croc feels like such a power move, though. So, yeah, you don't get to eat me. I'm gonna eat you.
I'm not stuck in here with you.
You're stuck in here with me.
So, Captain Zendros is capable of finding stuff if you talk to her.
I would love to talk to her. She sounds like an interesting person, generally.
Yeah. You've probably encountered a few tieflings in your travels, but they're not super common on this continent.
Well, as a storyteller and bard, I am fascinated.
Yeah, done.
And trying to play it cool, though.
Right. Hello.
Hi there. I don't think I've seen you around the market before. I'm Beryl.
Jaela.
Such a pleasure to meet you, Shayla. What brings you to this part of the world?
Oh, we come seeking trade.
Oh,
We are
wonderful.
hearing of the wonderful town Bottledown and thinking perhaps we need to strike up a relationship.
It's a lovely town. I've only been here a few days, but it's really nice. It's got room to grow. It's in a good place right now. I think it's gonna go places.
I would agree. I am hearing good things. Apparently, they have even just gotten a problem with smuggling under control. This is good. We want legal trade. None of this under the table.
Well, it started like smuggling was kind of a thing here when it was early on, and now they're trying to like make it completely legitimate, and I respect that.
Absolutely. So, Miss Beryl, you have sought me out. Why?
Well, it was kind of word was going around that you were good at procuring things, and I kind of hit a wall and trying to find something here, so I thought you might be able to help me out with that.
Oh. And what is it you are looking to procure?
I am looking for, I guess, a tailor with exceptional skills. I've kind of had a good run of luck in terms of money recently, and being a performer, presentation is important, but my job is also dangerous. So I'm looking for someone who can do me a good looking set of clothes, really catch the eye on stage, but maybe conceal some protective elements. So if anyone decides to stab me because they took offense to my latest ballad, it ain't gonna kill me.
Does this happen often?
No, that's never happened. I've never had anyone try to stab me over my music.
But there is always a first time, you are wondering.
Well, I seem to have a knack for getting into a little bit of trouble.
Oh, I see. She smiles and you intuit that she also has this knack. She says, yes, don't we all? All the best of us do. Well, yeah, I am known to procure certain artifacts and items from time to time. I do not unfortunately know of anything like this currently, but I can keep mine ear to the ground, maybe do some digging for you. You can make an insight check if you like.
I would love to make an insight check, and I'm going to use a different dice. Oh, yeah, 19. Fantastic.
19.
That's better. +6, so that's a 25. That's
Yeah.
much better than 2.
Her basically what she's implying here is that there would be a finder's fee, but she doesn't want to ask for it.
Look, I realize this is quite a specific and unusual request, so, I would obviously be willing to compensate you for your time and effort in helping me find this.
Oh, this is very generous of you. Yeah, I mean, I would always be wanting to assist in the procurement of anything and assist a fellow tradesperson, but yeah, this would be very appreciated. I will see what I can do. What sort of fee did you have in mind? Again, your insight, that would very much depend, this will dictate how rapidly you acquire your item.
What would be reasonable, I suppose? I will admit to having a poor concept of what money's actually
Beryl
worth.
would be aware that a rough cost, sort of roughly, an uncommon item, which will be a +1 magic item. You're looking for a slightly custom one, but it wouldn't radically increase the price. Would be about 300 gold pieces. That's the roughly a common magic item would be about 50. Then 300 for an uncommon, and rare goes to about $1,000. So if you would think in percentages, what you would consider basically Beryl's this. I'm not going to feeding it to you. I wanted to see what Beryl thinks a reasonable percentage on 300 would be.
How do you feel about 5%?
Oh, I could probably locate something for you. This I would not be able to devote a huge amount of time, but perhaps sometime in the next month I might be able to find something.
Can I inside again?
Yeah.
Did I just offend her?
No, but she's like 5%. She does the mental math, and that's what, like 15 gold pieces. She's like, we could do better. Like for 15 gold pieces. Well, yeah. I mean, that's Then you.
So this dice is great. We're going to keep
infer
using
that.
this one.
Yeah. She is like, look, 15 gold pieces. It's money I'll take. I can definitely hook you up, but I'm not going to put it on my important things to do list. It's the next time I'm in town. If I happen to find one, something like this in Chalderon, I'll bring it along. So 18 on the dice. I'll give you that 20% would get you an item very quickly.
20%?
Would probably within the next day or two.
Oh, right.
She may know of one in this town. Or if she doesn't, she may be able to find one or find someone who can make one nearby.
Right. Okay. Would it sweeten the deal a little bit if we maybe said 10 gold flat fee plus 10%?
Oh my goodness, this is very generous. Look, perhaps I can make some inquiries within the town. I have some contacts from my business dealings. Perhaps, yes. It is a bit, isn't it, Lizelle? I'm ruling that all +1 stuff is uncommon rather than rare. Because I think that, as you say, it doesn't make any sense. And she's looking for armor, but that would be uncommon. Cool. So she goes, yes, no, I think I can. This is certainly possible.
Just remembering how bad at haggling I
am. That would, crank it up to, what, 40 gold?
Yes.
10% plus 10.
If it ends up being 300 gold, she's looking at 40 gold pieces for helping me get it.
Yeah. This is a decent markup for her, and honestly, to find something wacky like this, you'd probably be looking about paying about that anyway. She says, if you are interested, and I don't know necessarily if you are, what your sort of your normal finances are like, but my services can actually be purchased on retainer. And if you like, I can just sort of keep my ear to the ground whenever I am out of town and whenever I am passing back through. I can bring any interesting items. If you're not interested in purchasing them, I can obviously take them along, but give you first dibs if you like. My services on a monthly basis are 50 gold pieces, but this will generate a steady stream of interesting items that you may wish to purchase, and of course there is a slight discount.
Look, as intriguing as that is, I don't know how often or how long I'm going to be here, unfortunately. So, let
us say that the first one is on me. And if you like the service and find that you maybe are in town in a couple of weeks' time, I will maybe have something interesting for you to purchase. And if you are interested in maintaining the relationship in a longer format, then maybe we are talking about it then.
I think that sounds very reasonable.
She says, well then, I shall go and make some inquiries, though I may need a little bit of, grace some palms, you know?
Well, how about we say we'll give you the 10 up front and the percentage upon successful acquisition of the item?
I think this sounds very reasonable, Miss Beryl. And she bows deeply to you, and accepts 10 gold pieces.
Do I think she is conning me? Full
of malarkey? No, you're 18 from before. I mean, what did you roll?
A 20.
Yeah, no, she's not. She's legit. She's definitely got... This is one of the more connected people. You've never seen her before, but she knows folk. around here. She is not important within the town her own self, but she is she represents a trade guild from overseas. She's an important person, but yeah, no, she's not conning you. She's going to do well out of this deal, but you might as well. Like some deals actually do benefit both parties. Yeah.
I was just like, you said 20%, and I'm like, look, 20% is very reasonable, but I'm just like, but
that's 60 gold, and you want haggle. Yeah.
I want to haggle, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's always that weird thing, like, because obviously in Australia, you don't haggle when you're shopping. So it's always weird for me when you're somewhere where you're allowed to haggle, and they're like, you're going to haggle? I'm like, I thought that price was very fair, actually. Do you just want to take my money so we don't have to awkwardly go back and forth about how much each of us is prepared for this to cost?
I think my favorite haggling story would have to be the gong.
Yes.
We own a gong, that neither of us wanted. We were in Vietnam and we were walking past it, and I've just pointed to it and said, "Oh, Karen, look, yeah, that'll be fun." And the seller was just started shouting prices at me, and I was like, "No, that's all right, thank you." Anyway, and then no, and kept dropping it, until they said one thing. I was just like, "That's like $1.50." I mean, fuck it, all right.
He really wanted to get rid of the gong, Josh. He was done having it.
I remember it being a woman, and I remember this because she gave us free friendship bracelets. She was like, there you go, and then just to let you know, I'm still ripping you off. Here, have a couple of freebies. And we're like, look, everybody came out of this in great arrangement very happy because I got a gong for $1.50 and a pair of friendship bracelets that I'm not confident we wore after we left Vietnam.
Probably not. Where is the gong, incidentally?
It is in the living room next to...
Yes, it is.
Last Christmas you filled it with Christmas baubles.
Yeah. It was a very festive gong.
Yeah. We used to have too many hooks on the walls in our old house, and then we moved to a house with no hooks. So we had nowhere to display our beautiful gong. Anyway, weird side bit. Okay, yeah.
Side.
you find Captain Zendros. She goes off and has a look for you, and she says, where would I, if you inquire back here tomorrow mid-afternoon, early evening, I will hopefully have found what it is.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm certainly impressed by the speed with which you think you can accomplish this. Thank you.
Oh, I am very resolved. You will find this meeting me. A pleasure, Beryl.
And you. I'll see you tomorrow.
You make her way. She would be standing at a stall, I would say, in the marketplace. But there's nothing actually on the stall. It's not like she sells anything. It's more like she's there to talk to people, and the deals are made, and then the products change hands are outside of the fact. She deals in wholesale. And there are two other chaps there as well. There is a halfling, but a halfling with the look of a foreigner. There is a dragonborn with her as well. He is the look of... Initially, you would have said a guard. He is shirtless, with parachute sort of harem pants, and a big, thick sash belt with an enormous scimitar just stashed in. His skin is... Sorry, scales rather are like a dark red. But just there is a scattering. It like as he moves, the sunlight hits his scales. They are metallic.
Ooh.
My favorite heckling story happened in 2002. My family and I were in Namibia at a market. We were at a market looking at stuff, and this guy was selling a 180 centimeter tall, 10 centimeter diameter wooden giraffe. Kept following me around the market. The starting price was 2,500 Namib dollars, which is about 240 Australian. Wow. By the time we left the market, the price had dropped to 8. I'm still a bit meh about it. I'm not buying. The best part was I just kept saying no thanks. Like, wow, you started high. What's hilarious is my parents...
You know someone's paid almost that much for one of those giraffes.
It's like, I got him down to half and thought, yeah, boy, 120? Hell yeah, that's awesome. My parents own 2 of those giraffes.
Oh my god, they do! Were they from Namibia?
No, I don't believe... I'm pretty confident my dad's been to Namibia, but I'm pretty sure my mum has not. My dad has been to over 180 countries. I'm not actually sure. Like he said, oh yeah, there's a few in South America I haven't done yet. He's been to all 7 continents. I do know that one. I was like, gosh, that'd be cool, just to do that before I die.
I've only done 3.
I think I'm at 4.
Because I haven't been
I've been to 5. Been to Africa, I've been to Europe, I've been to North America, I've been to Australia, I've been to Asia.
Yeah, I've only done
South
Australia,
America,
Asia, and Europe.
Antarctica. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not done America or either of the poles.
Yeah. I've been pretty close. I think I've definitely been in the Arctic Circle. I've never been to the North.
Oh yeah, a client where I work doing admin casually dropped that they'd been to Antarctica today.
Your aunt's going there this...
I know! Next year.
I'm not sure why. Just a holiday? Because she can?
Because she can?
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I'm quite well travelled. But the great thing about having a dad in the Navy, in the merchant Navy, so not even any fighting, you just travel around a lot. Anyway, let's carry on. Otherwise, we're not going to get to do any of the things. So yes, you do that. So that killed an afternoon.
I believe I was getting a ring inscribed for Garret. That's already done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, he was very touched.
Yeah, he had it. Yeah. You got it. I think you got it plain though, and he was going to inscribe it.
Oh yes, that's right. I got him
So he could, and he's going to put a rune on it.
That's right, because he's a rune knight, which is dope. If you don't know what a rune knight is, chat, you should look it up. It's very cool.
And actually, what he's going to be doing with his evenings for the next 2-3 days is going to be sort of continuing his studies into the book that he found in Stan Ballat's collection on how to be a rune knight. Actually, it wasn't in Stan Ballat's collection. It was in the collection of the alchemist who owned that building before Stan Ballat and his smugglers did. And it was in a language that you guys couldn't figure out. He realized eventually that it was giant, and he's been translating it.
He's a useful little chap.
He's a clever boy. So
this dragonborn that I have spotted.
Oh yeah.
Do they look approachable? Like, obviously they're a very intimidating figure.
Yeah, he's standing, his arms crossed. How many dragonborn would Beryl have met? Maybe 2 or 3. They're not super common. They're not so uncommon that you would go, the hell is that? But you definitely know what it is.
I know what he is, but rare occasion.
He would be a brass dragonborn. They are known to be unpredictable, I suppose. And your interactions with them in the past have probably been as a lawmaker, lawkeeper, in Alfheim. So you might be slightly cautious, but you're also a fairly gregarious person. So give it a go.
Go for it. I'm going to go up and be like, "Good afternoon."
He's at the same stall. He's listened to your entire conversation with Captain.
Great. I'll just be
Captain,
like,
yeah.
How are you?
Hello?
I'm Beryl.
Well, I heard. I am Garret.
It's nice to meet you, Garret. What brings you to this lovely little town?
I am another of the guild masters of Eos.
Oh.
Come for trade.
Fascinating. Don't see many of your kind around these parts.
No. This is something we are considering changing.
Oh, how exciting. I've only met a couple. That'd be like, I would refer to him as a dragonborn. Like, that would be what I would call it.
And he wouldn't be offended, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not a slur, is it?
No. You, Beryl, you are a reasonably worldly person. You would know that there are a lot of Dragonborn in Chalderon, which is across the Southern Ocean. Chalderon is a volcano city. And Dragonborn are very well adapted to living there, as are Tieflings.
It's a cool place, Chalderon.
It's not. It's very hot.
Walked right into that one, didn't I?
Yep.
For the record, Chad, I do actually know what Chalderon is.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's
cool.
one of my favorite creations.
It's a volcanic town. We should go there someday.
You should.
Beryl's going to be like, you wouldn't happen to be from Chalderon, would you?
I am. Yes. You are knowing of the great city?
I have heard of it. I'm a little bit of a traveler, but I've never been up there. It's kind of on my, list of places I think I should see before I die.
Oh, truly. Particularly if you are a trader or some sort of... if you are a member of a guild, definitely a place to visit. A home of craftsmen.
Oh, how exciting.
Sorry.
All right, we're just going to pause while one of us yells at the dog. Who has been barking at the neighbours all evening. Yeah, I know. You're muted, sweetie. I can hear him because he's in a room.
Barking at nothing, because it's cold and miserable outside. No one's out there.
I actually think it might be because if those of you who aren't in Perth has basically been having a storm for 3 days. It has been windy and rainy and generally cold and miserable and loud for 3 days.
Yeah. And
it's finally quietened down today. They've lifted the weather warning. And I think she can hear all the things in the neighborhood again. Because all she could hear was the storm for 3 days. And now she can hear everything.
And be mad about it.
I'd be mad about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I would love to. I don't suppose, I'm actually a bard, not a trader. But
the Bard Guild in Chalderon is always looking for new stories, members.
I do love a good story. I don't suppose you'd mind, can I buy you a drink or something? I'd love to hear about Chalderon.
No. Zendros, I'm going to have lunch. Can I bring you anything? And Zendros looks up and down, sort of like, I'm fine, thank you. I have work to do. Slightly pointed.
Sorry to steal them away from you. I am wildly curious. And, as a bard, you kind of got to go with those instincts.
Oh, no, of course. Maxwell, you can man the stand, yes? And the halfling goes, yes, Captain. And Maxwell
I'll bring you back a pie. Do you like a pie?
He does like pie. Come, let us have a drink.
Excellent.
And
is there like a beer tent or something set up? We can get a pie and a pint.
Sure. Let us say yes. There is a beer tent. There is a. It is actually. Tell you what. The quartermasters of Ears have brought with them a wide variety of Chalderanian foodstuff. With people who make them, they brought the cooks and such. And he says, Chalderon has a very famous festival, and we thought we'd treat the people of Bottledown to a micro version of it. The infamous Everything on a Stick festival.
Oh my god, I'd forgotten the Everything on a Stick festival.
And yeah, you go in, and there is like a half dozen food places where food is being cooked. They're all they all work for the same place, but it's like a mini Oktoberfest tent. It's red and blue. It's blue and white stripes, lateral stripes along the top, and it's got like a half dozen benches in it. And you are just assaulted by different smells and flavors as you go in. Sizzling. There is. You see one that has these huge long metal skewers with what appear to be tiny cabbages on them, interspersed with bacon. And as you watch, a tiefling is sprinkling what look to be crushed nuts over the top. And while another is sort of flicking a sauce at it, like the way one would paint, like a Jackson Pollock, just with their hands. At another stand, there is little cocktail sausages on tiny, tiny sticks. And another, there is whole lizards, the tails of which have been straightened and dried to make them a stick. Another is literally just breadsticks. And each one has a barrel or a keg or a bottle of something. It is the beverage to be drunk with that food on a stick.
Well, my friend, whatever you like, it's on me.
Oh, I am a fan. Have you tried any of them?
No, this is all new for me.
Then you must try the Brussels sprout.
Okay.
I will make you a deal. If you do not like them, I will pay for them and eat them myself.
That is an excellent deal, and I will take you up on it, sir.
Valiant Odyssey is raiding. Raiders, thank you so much for the raid! Valiant Odyssey, throw your favorite raid emotes up in chat. Tell us where and what you are doing, where you came from, what you're doing. Bakes2122, thank you very much. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We are playing, we have just restarted, Karen and I have just restarted our 1v1 DM versus player campaign. Hey, Chav Hunter! Long time no see. Good to see you, buddy. Actually, I saw you in Phoenix's stream this morning, but good to see you again, mate. Nice to see you.
Chav Hunter is a great name as well.
Chav Hunter is a great guy. Chav Hunter is an awesome person. Chav Hunter runs D&D for Disadvantaged Youth, I think.
Ooh.
Or used to. I don't know if that's still the case, but definitely did at one point. Crit and a Miss! An excellent name as well. Flying Banana. Oh, Valiant Odyssey, you've got some good names in your chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it's been a long time, Chav Hunter. Cool. Well, guys, we are currently experiencing a micro version of Chalderon's famous Food on a Stick festival. Still do it. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Proud of you, Chav Hunter. Thank you so much. On behalf of the kids that you work with, you bloody champion. Jack Speaks Giant is also raiding.
Oh my goodness.
Holy hell. Okay, cool.
It's all happening at once. Hi, guys.
Oh, thank you so much for the raid. Holy shit. We've already raided out. Yeah, boy. Look, raid. All the favorite raid emotes up in chat, guys. What were you all doing? Have to have a game to run at 3 p.m. and now, okay, well, you've got a couple of hours. Good. So, Valiant Odyssey, what were you doing? Let's start with Valiant Odyssey. Shout out at Val Odyssey. They were playing some Dungeons and Dragons. Tell us about your game. How was it? I hope it was excellent. What are you doing? What setting? Tell us. We want to know. And
Zach Speaks
Giant. Okay, shout out at Zach Speaks Giant. What were you guys doing? Also playing some D&D.
Hey.
Amazing! Wow, Karen, we have 105 people in chat. Oh my goodness! Guys, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, you bloody champions. Throw your favorite raid emotes up there. And yeah, tell us about it. Zach, how was your game? What were you doing? We are currently playing around in my original homebrew world, and as I'm sure Zach and Valiant Odyssey can confirm, you never throw away any element of your world. It just becomes part of your multiverse in your own headcanon. Stargate RPG soon for the kids. It's a 5e system. Dope, Chav Hunter. That's awesome. It was a sweetie, very, very warm. Oh, excellent. It's sweaty. It's very, very warm. Okay. Excellent. Good to hear. Well, yes, we are in we are in Telos, my homebrew world, and we are having the Chalderanian Everything on a Stick Festival, a micro version of it because we're not in Chalderon. We're in Bottledown, which is my world's version of Saltmarsh. Playing a few adventures from the Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign book, but with a hell of a twist on them. So this is a mostly halfling town, but there's some dragon. And currently, Beryl, our protagonist, played today by the Mother of Bunnies, but Karen and I are taking it in turns to be Beryl, will be being, is having lunch with a friendly dragonborn named, did I say his name was? Garret?
Garret.
Garret, that's right.
Well, I believe he said it more like Garok.
Garok. Yes, that was probably it.
My terrible
with a slightly
imitation
Germanic accent. So yes, let us continue, and we have had a new follower, Glenn Stefani. Glenn Stefani! Ah, excellent
The names!
Name. Well done. Well done, sir.
I like it.
Fantastic. Solid name.
I feel
Good
about
job.
Twitch channel names the way I do about personalized number plates. You should have a little chuckle when you see it.
Hey, Glenn Stefani ain't no hollaback girl. I never assumed for a moment that you were, Glenn. Thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champions. So, yes, let us continue.
He has
suggested the Brussels sprouts.
On a stick.
The Brussels sprouts, which have been interspersed with bacon bits, then sprayed with walnuts and some sort of brown sauce.
Look, I think Beryl's a kind of try any food once sort of girl, so she'll totally buy them some Brussels sprouts on a stick. And the accompanying beer.
It is a beer, of course it's a beer. It is quite a hazy boy. It is served in clear glasses. Most of the time you are used to wooden or pewter tankards, Beryl. But these are actually served in quite tall, long, quite elegant glass tankards. And quite a lot of it as well. Beryl, you haven't had this much beverage in a single glass since you were at home with your family. This is a dwarven-style tankard, but glass. It is a stein of this really sort of, it's the color of fresh mown hay, and it is a, he says, this is what we call a Rheinlager. In Troutron. And pairs very, very well with Brussels sprouts. You are given about a 18-inch long, a 1.5 long skewer of Brussels sprouts interspersed with bacon bits. And you probably watch him as he takes a bit of bacon and a Brussels sprout simultaneously and just closes his eyes flutter closed a little bit, and then it is good to keep it in your mouth and he just knocks back a solid slug of the beer, and he just sort of, I have been having this most of my life and I am still loving it. Pardon me.
I will
Glitcher as well. Glitcher, solid name, thank you for the follow.
I will imitate Garok and take a sprout and some bacon together and then have a sip of beer.
Karen, you are familiar with the food that I am basing this on, so you can decide for Beryl's self if you like it.
Beryl holds it in her mouth and is overwhelmed with beautiful, sweet, salty flavor. It's a little charred around the edges. It's soft in the middle, and it melts in her mouth. And she's like, Garret. Oh, that's delicious. I didn't think vegetables could taste that good.
Most do not. Brussels sprouts, of course, not a very popular, but...
No, my grandma used to boil them until they were falling apart. They're disgusting. This is heavenly.
This is it. You won't be getting the recipe, though.
Imagine
even I am not allowed it. These are
closely guarded secret, I imagine.
Is, I believe so.
Top secret.
The guild master came up with it himself. The chef's guild master. Chalderon is a place of guilds. If you are ungilded, then you are probably not employed.
Oh wow.
But it keeps everything very running smoothly, you know. It is. We have found it very much to be beneficial for all concerned. If you don't want to be a member of the guild, there is the free guild, but even that is technically a guild.
So if you don't want to join the guild of your trade, you can just go and hang out with the general guild, or go.
being a member of the guild comes with many perks, but it also forces you to... We have found that it was our solution to landed gentry, to be honest.
Oh.
So the gold dragonborn get an auto pass on that since they're born gilded. Nice, Ardana.
Gold star. Look.
Yes, advantage for chat.
Congratulations, chat. You have inspiration.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Beryl will just pepper him with questions about the different guilds, what the town is like.
Yeah.
She's just trying to get like a really cool general picture of what Chalderon is like. And through these questions, kind of get an idea of what sort of person Garret is as well.
He is very proud of where he's from. He was born in Chalderon. He was actually his egg and his whole clutch was roasted in the caldera itself.
Ooh.
His mother laid them and then took them down to the sands of the caldera. So Chalderon is a semi-active volcano, as in it's an active volcano that is kept tame by the inhabitants. The Wizards Guild do an awful lot of work in that regard.
Wizards Guild's working overtime to stop the entire town being roasted.
It's not too bad, and it's very stratified, but it is a financial stratification rather than a class situation. The walls of the caldera on the inside are where everybody lives. The poorer people live closer to the fire. The richer you are, the cooler your habitation is. And the less smoky. The really, really expensive houses, there is one side of the caldera that is extremely steep. That's where the rich folk live, because they're the ones who can afford to actually build their houses into a flat surface and dig in. Everybody else lives on slope. It is a home of invention. He says only, about 3 years ago, a flying machine, if you can believe it, was invented in Chalderon. It took the form of a giant bat, but the dwarf riding it was quite a genius. He has been hailed as an absolute madman, but also a genius.
It's amazing how often those two things coincide.
The first one is always mad. After that, when the people who figure out how to make it safe and usable and then mass producible, these are the geniuses. The first one is insane.
I feel like I should show you what's hidden in my dulcimer at this point so you can appreciate my own level of madness and or genius.
He says, your dulcimer?
Oh, and I'll have been wearing it on my back, so.
Oh, good. Okay. I am sorry, I was not familiar with this instrument.
Oh, well, this is a dulcimer.
I was uncertain. I thought this was possibly some sort of pun or play on words.
Oh, no, sorry. I meant quite literally my dulcimer.
Aye. Do you unsheath the blade?
Not completely, because I don't want to cause a panic in a tent, but I'll kind of pull it out enough so you can see that I've got a sword hidden inside.
Fine craftsmanship.
Thank you. I was quite proud of the idea. I'm not the first person to think of hiding a weapon in an instrument, I'm sure, but, it's handy. Means you're armed even when you're on stage. And I've never been attacked on stage, but it's always best to be prepared for it.
The first time, yeah, absolutely. Mm. He's very proud of where he's from. He is quite genteel. You would guess he probably knows how to handle himself. He's a dragonborn, but he is a trader first. He is and probably a patriot second. He is. What else to tell you?
Okay, she's just kind of. She's got a little idea for a song in her mind about, the volcano city and the dragonborn. Traveler. Always returns to the heat of the mountain.
And of course, the area around the volcano is extremely good farmland.
Oh, yes.
Particularly
with the volcano kept magically from, obliterating everything.
Exactly. Occasionally, once every 300-400 years, we just let it go a little bit. It refertilizes a whole land. Nothing to the point of an eruption, but we let out, basically everybody goes on holiday for a couple of weeks. And the entire place is essentially fumigated. We just turn the magic off for a little while, let the fire go, and then we come back, and the whole place is covered in ash. But so yes, 2 weeks holiday, then 2 weeks of tidying up, and everything is good again.
Look, you live in a strange place. You got to make some sacrifices, I guess.
The benefits very much outweigh the negatives, in my opinion as well, certainly. And look, I am physically very adapted to living in such a warm environment, but I know many others who do so. It is an extremely cosmopolitan city. I am not to say anything on Bottledown, but significantly more so than Bottledown.
Oh, I imagine so. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Bottledown. It's a very lovely place, but it's a small little trading town for now. I think it'll grow and develop. But
I think so. This is a good portion of our reason for being here.
Well,
and he gives you a massive toothy smile, and he says, "Do come back. I highly endorse also the lizards."
Well, I have a friend who I've been traveling with lately, so I might convince him to pop on down and try a lizard on a stick. Why is it? It's technically not on a stick, I suppose. A lizard.
The lizard is the stick, so it counts.
The lizard is the stick, and the stick is part of the lizard. They are one.
You can't really eat the tail, so the tail is the stick. That's the point. Although I am all for an edible stick.
Uses a toothpick afterwards.
Well, and you actually see that he is doing that with his skewer before it is collected.
I want a picture of this guy so bad. He's
I was going to say we should do some character building. We do some more Sunday Nighters and build some characters on Hero Forge. Some of these people. We should build Garret and Oceanus. Yeah. Not for the next couple of Sundays, though, because I'm going to be streaming with the Eldritch Scribe for the next couple of Sundays. Because I'm a slut. All right.
You're slutting on Friday as well, aren't you?
I am, with a lovely Swedish lady. Okay.
All right. Cool. Well, basically, we can have our meal. I absorb all this information and file it away in my future songs portion of my brain, which is most of my brain. About what time of the day would it be by the time we finished?
Oh, I imagine you probably talk his ear off for like 2-3 hours.
Oh yeah. So several pints.
Mid-afternoon, evening-ish. You're getting into a session. If you would stay for more than 3 hours, Garret would probably show up.
Oh, cool. I would probably let's hang around and let Garret turn up.
Hey, Beryl.
Garret, coming over and meet my new friend Garret, all the way from Chalderon.
Oh wow. Wow. Oh, what smells good? What is that? And he's a halfling. He's a halfling. He's a growing halfling boy who's got Garret, a fuck ton of money.
I would love you to try the Brussels sprouts on a stick.
Oh, really?
And I will make you the same offer that Garret made me, that if you eat it and you don't like it, I will pay for it.
All right, Beryl. I'll try anything once. And he comes back, and he's got 4 of them. He's like, "These are for you." And he gives one to you and one to Garret. "Good recommendation, thank you." And he's a mouthful. Yeah. And he's got one of the sellers, one of the tieflings who was turning the spit, comes along with 4 more steins and plonks them down. And he said, pushes one in front of you and Garret and says,
"Oh, thank you, Garret. How'd the work go today?"
"Real good, Beryl. Real good. I think I'm making really good progress."
Well, that's good to hear.
I'll probably be done in a couple of days.
Oh, great. Well, I can certainly entertain myself for a couple of days if you want company traveling back up to...
Oh, sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm kind of welcome at the Wicker Goat whenever I want a gig. So, I'll probably head there later, to be honest, and bust out some tunes.
Well, I've got dinner with my aunt tonight, but...
Well, don't eat too many sprouts.
Oh, no. This is it. What are those? And Garret goes, Those are the skinks. Yeah, they are very, very good. But we are staying for a few days, so you can always come back for lunch tomorrow. And you have a pleasant early evening before you, slightly tanked, go and prepare, go and do a gig at the Wicked Goat.
Yeah.
Cool.
I decide that I'm gonna bring Ratness out on stage with me tonight. I have been working. I'm gonna see if Ratness can dance. So, because I've had a few and it seems like a good idea. So I will get out my pipe of rat summoning.
Yep.
And yes, I believe I roll. It's just 1d20 to see how good Ratness is going to be.
It's with your animal handling. Oh, Arcana.
Oh dear.
Good.
Oh no, it's not too bad actually. It's 12.
Yeah, obey simple commands, but nothing complicated.
Hey, Ratness, can you dance?
And the head sort of... if you did this mid-song, it could be part of the song, though. Could be this mid-performance, you just like... Poof! Shoomp! And out comes a giant rat, and everyone goes... Ah!
Yes, I love it. Mid-performance, I summon the giant rat. Ratness, I would like you to dance for these lovely people.
And Ratness... sort of... You know the way, because I've got the rules for it here. Over 10, you can give the rat simple commands which it obeys to the best of its abilities. Over 20, you gain a limited mental connection with the rat, allowing you to communicate with it mentally and hear its thoughts within a range of 200 feet. You didn't do that. But you got over 10. So Ratness, you know when, in like dressage, when the horse is like dancing from foot to foot to foot to foot?
Yeah.
That. She sort of does a circle of the stage on back left, front right, back left, and like always two paws on the floor, and everyone's just like initially like the fuck is going on, and they go, yes, all right. I mean, if anyone could teach a giant rat to do that, amazing, cool.
And I break into an upbeat song about a rat catcher who summoned the rats by playing the flute, which feels very appropriate for playing the flute.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I'll swap to my dulcimer while I'm singing, but I bust out another flute solo later, for dramatic effect.
Death Roll 85, thank you very much for the follow. Good on you. Yeah, you do that, and it's very funny. Yeah. So, following day, Beryl, about mid-morning. You probably slept in a little bit. I'm not going to say you were hungover because it was with food and friends and
over a few hours,
Yeah. Yeah. But you slept in mid-morning. You're out for a stroll, and you a tap on your shoulder as you're strolling through the market.
I will stop and see who's.
And it's Oceanus.
Oh, hi! How are you feeling?
Much better. And he does look much better. Oceanus, the sea elf you found on your last adventure, he does look better as well. He has recovered from his time in captivity. His blue-green skin has a ruddy hue to it again, and his long kelp-like hair is tied back with a short length of seaweed. He stands taller than when you met him as well. He was a little hunched and drawn.
Well, he was essentially in a cupboard.
Yeah, he was locked in a cupboard for like 3 days. He's easily a foot taller than you, and that makes him stand out quite a lot in a mostly halfling settlement, similar to Garret and Captain Zendros. They basically about 80% of the population of Bottledown are halflings. So as a dwarf, you're about half a foot taller than most of them. And these guys are, anybody taller than you, sticks out like a sore thumb. How, Chaff Hunter, thank you for the follow. Cool. And he says, I had some questions to answer.
Oh, I imagine so. They weren't rude to you, were they?
Initially they were a little guarded, but they were fine as soon as I made the situation clear. to them.
Yeah, I did try to explain that to them, but
No, I appreciate it. They were never rude. They were just a little cautious. But,
yeah. Well, you were found on a smuggler's ship, so
yes, obviously, and it helped that the two guardsmen that were with you, they spoke up as well.
Oh, good.
Confirmed the situation. I was wondering if you had a moment to talk.
Oh, of course. Well, should we get off the street somewhere it's a little quieter?
Oh, that would probably be wise.
If there's like a little park with a bench in it or something.
Sure. There is actually, as I recall, up near the Wicker Goat, there is a small municipal park, like just a patch of greenery where you had a picnic once or something. You sat under a tree.
That's right. I took my lunch out there and had a nap in the sun. It was lovely.
Yeah. So you lead him up there. It's probably not very far from there. And so yeah, you sit down on under this tree and he, pat the ground next to you, and he a little awkwardly sits next to you. And he says, I'm not certain how to approach this, but I suppose as a fellow non-local, I felt I should ask. I am a little worried that the people here dislike me.
Oh.
Just generally. I know I stand out. I'm aware that there are elves, and you've seen a few around, but I am not a land elf.
No.
And he gestures like along his jawline there are gills. And whilst I am fully capable of living on land, I don't. And I just worry I have drawn the ire of the folk around here.
Oh.
I was wondering if you could... Well, I'm not certain. I don't really know land folk very well. Do you believe I am right in this, or...
Look, small towns can be a little small towny, I suppose. They can be a little awkward about things they don't find familiar.
You are having this conversation in Elvish.
Ah.
Because he doesn't speak Common.
Oh, that's right.
Fortunately, you and Garret both do.
And, you don't speak the language, and, some people find that a little difficult to deal with, and they'll be rude rather than try and, find a way to communicate.
Yes. Only one of the council spoke Elvish. Commander Fireborn.
Right.
And was translating for the others. Well, at least it is perhaps not so much what I have done as who I am. In that case, I shall...
I suspect that's more of the case. Like, I don't want to make
You
excuses.
appeared to be popular.
I suppose I stand out a little less. I'm not a halfling, but I'm halfway there.
He smiles. He doesn't. He smiles, but it's the smile of a. Huh?
Oh, and I'll explain that in common, halfling literally means half.
Ah, I see. And you are.
I'm smaller than a human, but I'm not as small as a halfling. So.
I see. And a halfling is literally half what a human is.
Yes. So it was a play on words.
A little
didn't
insulting,
translate.
Isn't it, to halflings?
Well, they came up with the term, so maybe they're just super literal about it.
All right. I would find
or maybe they just kind of went with it because that's what other people were calling them. I need to look into that now.
Cool.
I mean, you're welcome. Like, I don't want to It's the benefits of being a bard and kind of a person who's done something good for a town lately. You're welcome to like hang around with me and
Get a little
benefit
bit
from
of
the
that.
benefit of association and all that. Like I did make a rat dance in the tavern last night, so I've got some, goodwill going on around here.
Your rat? It dances?
Well, she tried.
He actually laughs. There would be it wouldn't be a particularly merry laugh, but it would be a it's sort of the shake of the head of land people.
I suppose dancing would be a little different underwater. Like, I assume you have, like, the equivalent of dancing.
Oh, yes. It is just three-dimensional. The primary difference.
I'd love to see that. I have to learn to breathe underwater first, though.
There are spells.
Yeah.
I would love to show it to you. I wanted to say as well, again, thank you.
No, it's...
Well, not just for freeing me, but for seeing through the prejudice.
Oh. I try to take folks as they are,
What are your thoughts on the council?
Oh, the usual. Some good, some bad, some with ulterior motives, and all of them trying to keep their cards close to the chest.
Yeah. I told them what I could. They were curious about the lizard folk. Unfortunately, I know not a lot of them.
They didn't seem keen to
I know of a
anyone.
tribe nearby.
Oh.
But I doubt it's them because they left 3-4 months ago.
If they want weapons, they must be planning to fight somebody, but who?
Well, there is that. And if they are arming themselves, there are plenty of enemies. But I think your council is worried that they mean harm to Bottledown. Legitimate fear, because a large
and
number
only
of
a
lizard
lizard
folk
folk could cause a lot of damage out here. Like, they have the guard, but the guard is not an army.
No. Yeah. The council, I believe... Well, I don't think they have no real reason to trust me, but I'm not sure they do.
No. If it helps, I don't think they 100% trust me either. And to be honest, I think part of the reason they asked me to go and deal with the smugglers is because they wouldn't have been super upset if I didn't make it back alive.
This is the beauty of mercenaries, unfortunately.
Oh, I didn't mean to come out here and be a mercenary, But, people find out what I used to do, and they're like, oh, well, you can just keep doing that, but for us, right?
You would prefer not?
Look, I don't mind. The money's good. It gives you stories to tell. But I suppose I want to be known as Beryl the Bard rather than Beryl the former watch officer,
I see. Well, if it's any help, I think you are known as Beryl the Bard, but Beryl the Bard who does stuff.
Beryl the Bard who occasionally will pull a sword out of a dulcimer and go to town on your ass.
Not a bad thing to be famous for.
I guess not. Less likely to have people try and rob me, I suppose.
Beryl, make a perception check.
Ooh, I'm rolling much better since I swapped to this dice. That was a 17.
Nice.
This dice is good. I like this dice.
Okay.
Insight, you said?
Yeah, perception.
Perception. That makes it a dirty 20.
Beryl, you're sitting on this hill, looking down at the harbour. And it's a pleasant view. You can see the Sea Ghost, the ship what you rode in on, and you can see work is being done on it.
Ooh.
As you watch, a harpoon gun is being loaded, winched on.
Oceanus, I ain't crazy. Like, they're putting a harpoon gun on that ship, aren't they?
They are putting 2. because he points out the second one on the dock next to it.
I wonder what are they planning on hunting with a harpoon gun?
He says, well, that does pose an interesting question, doesn't it?
Hey, Oceanus, are you up for a little snooping down by the docks by any chance? You wouldn't have any plans for this afternoon that I'd be,
Can't say I'm hugely busy, no. I do need to possibly look for work. I do not have a huge amount of personal wealth. And my welcome is probably at an end.
Well, consider this me hiring you for a few hours to be my offsider in case the snooping down at the docks turns out badly for me.
You also, with that higher perception, it is guard officers. You can see both of your acquaintances as you get closer. You will be able to notice both of your acquaintances whose names completely escape me.
Their names are written down, but they're written down on the purple notepad in the kitchen. So,
purple notepad in the kitchen.
it's on the shopping list.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I don't have.
Let's just go with guard A and guard B.
Yeah, the two guards. I don't have it written down, I'm afraid. Yeah. That's frustrating. Oh well. Yeah. Guard A and guard B are there. One's a male, one's a female, one's human.
Okay. Hang on.
Where is the Mountain Dew? Can you... You'll see if I'm drunk. Dissonant Datton. Twitchy Bishy. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for joining us. Where's the Mountain Dew? Can you roll to see if I'm drunk?
Yasin and Trinity were
Yasin and Trinity. There you go.
I remembered I had the word doc. I had the kind of dates in.
Yasin's a grumpy
Trinity
boy.
was the human woman scout, and Yasin was the stout halfling bandit.
Hello, it's a D&D video. Okay. I am unfamiliar with that one, Twitchy Bishy. Good name. Good names in chat today.
Yeah, so many good names in chat tonight. Cool. I'll basically tell Oceanus, well, you can just stand behind me and look a little intimidating if we get into any trouble, okay?
Very well. I'll offer my own observations.
Please do.
There is Yatsen. You know that one.
Hey, Yasin, how you feeling?
Oh, hello, Beryl. Yeah, better.
They heal you up all right? I know we patched you up, but you know.
Oh, no, yeah. Shoulder's still a bit stiff, but yeah, I know. Got a promotion.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, I get to be second mate on this tub now.
Oh, what are you guys planning on doing with it?
Well, we're fitting her out so that she can be a little bit more useful than just a scout, you know?
Oh, okay. What sort of, like, not to be nosy, but what sort of things do you think they're going to do with it? Those are some big guns they're putting up there.
Oh, well. So you would be aware that cannons are not a thing. So harpoons or necessarily maybe catapults would be the largest thing you could mount on a ship. Ship this size, harpoon gun is about the biggest gun you could mount on here. It's sort of not really, it's not a harpoon gun the way you would think of, so like not a modern gun. It is more of a ballista with a rope.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a giant crossbow.
Cool.
Raging Rolls is raiding. Karen, we have our third raid of the afternoon.
All the raids tonight.
Amazing.
Welcome, guys.
Favorite raid emotes up in chat, guys. And yeah, thank you so much for the raid, Raging Rolls. What were you up to? We are doing our 1v1 DM versus player game. We are back for season 2 of this. We run 12 episode seasons, and yeah, we finished that a little while ago. Moved it from Monday night to Thursday night because our Monday night Humblewood crew took that spot, the naughty buggers. But yes, we are here for this, and Karen and I take it in turns. I am Josh the Pirate. This is my lovely wife, the mother of bunnies, and yeah, we take it in turns to be the DM. Currently, it's me. And I'm getting to make up a whole load of bullshit about Chalderon. So let's say shout out at Raging.
And our heroine Beryl, accompanied by the sea elf she recently rescued from a closet on a smuggler ship, is trying to suss out... Sorry?
A closet sea elf.
A closet.
Oh, yes, Twitchy Bishy, thank you very much. Yes, raiders, please do actually make sure you have successfully raided over and you're not still just watching someone else hosting us. Raging Rolls was playing D&D. Yeah, no, sometimes that does happen. Yeah. It's not always, but sometimes. So, yeah, thank you very much, Raiding Rolls. What were you guys doing? It looks like D&D, but what manner of D&D? Were you homebrewing? Were you planning? Were you plotting? Were you playing? I don't know. What were you doing? Tell us. We do a lot of D&D here on Corsair's Cove. I play Humblewood on Monday nights. I do homebrewing on Tuesday nights. And yes, Karen is often involved in all of that shit as well. And if you like our faces and voices, you can find us on other channels semi-regularly. Considering how long elves tend to live, I think there wouldn't be a lot of things that elves have not tried. Well, exactly.
Oh, see, now I just want to make an elf character who's just one of those people who's just like, oh, I did that before it was cool. Like,
I did almost everything before it was cool.
Oh, you like water skiing? Yeah, I first did water skiing like 75 years ago. It was very new then. You know, they've really improved the skis.
I'm in the final stage of writing and publishing some homebrew for an encounter to be published real soon. Ooh, cool.
What sort of homebrew are we talking?
Yeah. Had loads of help from the lovely folks in chat. Awesome. Yes, I have just put the link in chat for our Discord if any of our raiders or followers would like to join us over there. And in our the main area of our Discord, the Hung, Drawn and Quartered, which is a pub in the older heart of Humblewood, is I have put up the thing I homebrewed on Tuesday. It's a little monster. It is an ooze, a tiny, tiny ooze called an inkling. And yes, I had some lovely help from chat as well for making that thing. It's very, very cool. When it slaps you, it writes a naughty word on your face. But it's got an extremely low strength, so it's really not very good at slapping you. And it's only got like
just stings a bit,
points.
And then your cheek says,
and you've got
shit.
Fuck. Yes, exactly. And then the homebrew rules are up in the Hung, Drawn and Quartered if anybody wants them. I'm definitely going to put an inkling into the game at some point.
Love the idea of just automatic swear word tattoos.
Yeah. Ardana was saying something about a wizard wearing one as a... like the inkling is their familiar, but they wear it as a tattoo.
But just the sleeve can manifest as a...
And you just... bloop, and it's just this little blob that... and they, whenever they read a word that is a thing, they turn into that thing. They can read and understand any language, but they cannot speak or communicate in any way. I made a new type of ooze. It's called a drinkling. Ah, cool. Are you joking? Are you messing around with me, or is that a thing? Because that sounds great. And if you didn't actually, then I will.
It smells like a pub floor. Just saying. That's how you know it's coming. You're like.
Yeah, it's mostly a beer ooze. Yeah, dead set. It's like a mimic, but a fluid.
It's the fluid from the tray underneath the beer spout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
slightly congealed.
And if your elves are the type to have dreams that consist of memories of their past lives, then most elves would just remember having previously done things. Elves would be, they'd be really irritating people to hang out with them.
I think like people get caught in how cool elves are. I'm like, no, that'd be really annoying. They've done everything. They know everything. Anything you've done, they've also done, and probably cooler.
Warhammer Fantasy does elves quite well because whilst they do live for millennia, it mods them so that they learn slower. So to gain the or rather that humans learn uncommonly quickly. And that's the older races, the dwarves and the elves, look down on humans because they're like, yeah, you pick it up in but it's an 80-20%, you know? Like, we got the extra 20% by doing an extra 80% of the effort. We're better at it, but not markedly so. And that's their thing. It was like, ugh, they rush everything. It was like, they've only got 80 years to do it. You live for 400 years.
Oh.
Got to play a Winter Eladrin Storm Herald Barbarian. That's interesting. His job is to be a gladiator, and his hunt for fame, he has found himself facing an undead mammoth. Ooh, After getting slapped around for a while, he lost his sight on the Death Knight controlling the mammoth and stabbed it to death while it was restrained. The Eladrin was just 211 years old. I just got an old Rogue Trader Core rulebook. Wow! That's old school. Rogue Trader is 40k before 40k was 40k.
Oh!
Rogue Trader is
then.
what it was like 80s. It was Rogue Trader was White Dwarf before they released White Dwarf. Yeah, that's very cool. Bishi plays a female Kinder pirate gunslinger, homebrew, dope, that wears leather armor in the form of a cute kitty onesie with kitty ears and a tail, level 6 at the moment. Amazing.
Love it.
What is a Kinder? I'm not sure about Kinder race. Don't know what that one is.
Because I'm just thinking of the chocolate egg, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So a chocolate egg in a kitty onesies.
Dragonlance.
Oh, type of gnome.
Oh, okay. No, Dragonlance gnome. Cool.
Humanoids that resemble halflings at a young age with youthful features. However, they are taller and thinner. Klepto
gnomes. Apparently. Thanks, Bishop Blood. There we are. All right. Well, I'm just gonna sort of you get there. You
I'm
check
snooping
out
around this ship that they're putting big harpoons on.
And Trinity is high up in the mast, doing something with the rigging. So she's a bit out of range for chatting. And Yasin is overseeing the attaching of the new harpoon cannon onto the new trebuchet. Not a trebuchet. It is
giant crossbow.
Balliste. Onto the side. It is moored at the port side, and they're mounting it on the starboard. So the side facing out into the water. Yeah.
Well, I'll just keep trying to play it cool, but peppering Yasin with questions.
He basically, I'm gonna just expedite this a little bit. He doesn't know why, beyond, basically, the council has said, yes, the guard can have this. It would make sense if the guard armed it. And it was actually Eleander Fireborn, the commander of the guard, who I believe we met before, who said, yep, we should definitely arm that. We are going to put some guns on it. We are going to put the biggest guns we can find that'll fit. So a couple of harpoon launchers who assisted in its eventual intended role. He appointed Yasin and Trinity as second and third officers, and they are in the process of recruiting a crew. 3 or 4 merchant sailors have been recruited into the crew temporarily, just to make it go. But they are potentially not going to be kept on. The only other person you do recognize is one of the smugglers. The girl who Beryl was sort of, she was, one of the smugglers has been judged to be, she appears to be working really hard. She is wearing some pretty simple clothing, like the clothing of a prisoner, but she's working diligently and doing basically hopping to whenever Yasin gives her an instruction. I can't remember what we said her name was. Might have been Sandra. She seems to be doing as she's told and working diligently and hard.
Cool. In a slightly quieter voice when she's not around, I'll just be like, how's she going?
Oh yeah, that one. Well, Captain Fireborn gave her a pretty thorough interview. Gave them all a pretty thorough interview, and she basically begged to be allowed to help, to pay it off, to work. Apparently she'd had a bit of really just a run of bad luck. Old sob story, and we, as guard, I hear it all the time, but we wanted to see, we got in a wizard, wizard, but, we did a bit of a charm, made sure she was telling the truth. Actually, they didn't get in a wizard, sorry, I'm going to retcon that. They have an item that lets them cast Zone of Truth. semi-regularly. And he's like, we activated a zone of truth around her, and her story was legit. Surprise, surprise. So she's being allowed to work off the debt, as it were, 6 months before the mast as a intern. At which point she will become a paid member of the crew. Twitchy Bishy, thank you very much for the follow. Twitchy Bishy, they're like halflings and famous for being fearless, sometimes to their own demise, and very adept at taunting. Oh, there you go.
Do like a good taunt. Ah, see, now I want to just go find books from the 1970s.
Oh, hell yeah. D&D, the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was, that era. I also play a very old superhero RPG called Villains and Vigilantes, the 1970s. Chav Hunt of the time. Yeah.
Cool. Can I will quickly kind of summarize what Yassin's just told me to Oceanus, because he was on the ship and just be like, did you talk to her at all?
Met only a single one of them. The one with the hook hand.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh no, that's the bosun.
He
survived. Yeah. He says the one you took hostage. He was unkind. He brought food. If I was there 3 days, then I was fed only once per day. And watered twice per day, which for my kind is not ideal.
Well, once we're done here, I know a place where you can get great stuff on a stick.
Yes. I'm not flush enough. Unfortunately, I have not indulged. But hopefully...
Don't worry. There's a stick there, and basically, oh no, I get confused. If you don't like it, I'll pay for it. But I'm just gonna buy it for you. Never mind. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Still a little hungover from last night. That's fine.
Like, wait, what were the terms of the deal? I can't remember.
So, chat. The deal. In Perth there is an excellent bar called the Old Faithful, where Rachel on Monday night, Rachel Fuka from Monday night, her partner Dan works, and Dan, as in Dan, not Dan Swelter, who also plays on Monday night, but Rachel's fiance Dan. It works, and it's one of my favorite bars. And they have an amazing dish there, which is Brussels sprouts cooked in this particular manner. And it was the deal I was made when I went in there. I said to one of the bar staff, "I'm looking for something to eat. What's good?" And he said Brussels sprouts, and I was like, "Are you sure about that?" And he was like, "Dude, I will pay for it and eat it myself if you don't want it." And I'm like, solid deal. Alrighty, let's give it a go. And I used to run food tours and take people in there, and every single time, that was the deal I made them. I only once had to eat Brussels sprouts my own self, and she was weird.
Oh yeah, was that food tour?
It was one person. Yeah, it was for foodie. Yeah. That's what that dish is based on, and that is why I make, and that's where the deal came from. Yeah, that's fun. I was born in 1970, started playing D&D at the age of 8, been playing ever since, taking only a year off to get settled at college. Wow.
That's
amazing,
so cool.
Twitchy Bishy. That's
you
awesome.
Must know everything.
Yeah. Favorite system? Favorite edition, Twitchy Bishy? With no judgment at all. I have only played 5e. I've had a look at 4th ed. I've got a couple of 4th ed books behind me. It looks super confusing. 2nd ed. Really? Okay, there you go. Interesting. Alrighty. Back to the thing. In fact, do you have any more questions, Karen, or are you wanting to...
Can I, I'm not going to go talk to her, because I'm pretty sure she doesn't like me.
No, this one was one who, she didn't dislike you, but yeah, she was like, please, no, don't let me, and then you took her anyway. She was just desperate. She was terrified of getting in trouble, but she was already in trouble. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
well, I'll basically catch her eye and give her a friendly nod. Just like a, hi, good for you. This is good.
She does actually give you a furtive wave. Yeah.
That's nice. I'm happy for her. She's getting a second chance. And Beryl is all about second chances.
Yeah, no, that's it. She's doing another project, like Garret.
Yes, Beryl arrested Garret. That's how they met.
Yeah. Twitchy Bishy, 5th ed is a lot simpler, but kind of too dumbed down for your liking. Okay. This is it. I'm finding a lot of things that are even more simple, and like, no, I want them as complex as 5 ed, but I don't want them much more so. Zell says, that's amazing. I was born in 1974 and didn't start D&D until 1999. I mean, I was born in 1986 and didn't start D&D until 2015. I'm very young to this hobby. Karen and I both started playing in 2016 actually.
It would have been 2016, yeah.
Yeah. With
we met our first
Dragons.
Yeah, on the podcast, we got
Debbie
asked
Dragons.
to be in a podcast playing D&D, and we're like, neither of us have played D&D. It's like, that's fine.
We were all hired because we're voice actors, not because we were professional nerds. We are now professional nerds. Yeah,
Well,
it's
we've been
all
resisting
Matt's fault.
so hard, and then got their little hooks into us.
Donna didn't start playing until last year. What the heck?
Wow.
Amazing. You fell as bad as I did then, Ardana. Because,
Josh fell hard. It was scary.
I went from never having played to running multiple games within a year. And Ardana has done exactly the same thing by the looks of it. You even advanced to Twitch way faster than me. Took me 3 years to get to Twitch. Been playing RPGs for 15 years, been playing video games and everything since birth. No joke, I was on my brother's knee with a controller in my hands. Adorable Chef Hunter. Love it. Yes.
Something I've been meaning to do on our channel for a while, and stuff keeps coming up, is I want to find video games I played when I was a kid and play them again.
Yeah. We need to have another Bunny Park episode.
Yeah, I want to play Croc, Legend of the Gobos, Jazz Jackrabbit, and I wonder if Mist is still around.
Oh, Mist is definitely still. And if not, I can find you something very like it. I have 3 that are very like it.
And the Cassandra Galleries was a weird game, but a cool game. I remember that one. Lots of puzzle solving.
I want to play Secret of Monkey Island.
Oh my god, Jane of the Jungle.
Yeah.
We had to swing on the vine. That was Microsoft DOS.
That probably won't run anymore. You're gonna have to get an emulator. Oh my god, loved Croc.
Of it somewhere. But yeah, you didn't even go into Windows to play that.
Ardana's first RPG was Vampire the Masquerade, and I was in my last year of high school. We would LARP being vampires in school during school hours, and the goal was not to get caught being vampires. Lizelle, I did play Vampire the Masquerade in 1996, but unfortunately it wasn't a good experience. I liked the character, but the story horribly railroaded. Okay. I still have my old consoles and video games. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Myst was awesome. Super frustrating, but awesome. I played it with a mate, and we got stuck on a piano because you needed to be able to play piano to get the puzzle. Otherwise, we just had to sort of fat thumb it through.
Confession time. I cheated.
Yeah.
Well, we had the book, and I was just so stuck. I was just like, I have no idea what's going on anymore. So I just looked up in the book. I'm just like, I'm going to go get some help.
Twitchy Bishy, I played Pong new out of the box.
Ah!
Wow.
One day I'm going to be like, I played Snake on my novel phone.
I had to explain to a bunch of children recently why the save icon is the way it is.
Oh, I remember.
They're like, you're so old. I'm like, I remember before phones.
I remember being excited when they first started making floppy disks in different colors.
And I get called a nerd. All right, tangent. Yes, you're correct.
Yes, tangent. Okay, cool. I am curious about this direction that this is heading, but what time is it?
Mid-morning, late morning.
How do you feel about an early lunch of things on a stick, Oceanus? Mash out.
Eager 500 for the win, Tony. Wow. He says, sounds splendid. And yeah, you take him over there. And I think, ladies and gents, we might have a quick breaklet. Because I'm having a marvelous time, but I do need to drain my stick on a lizard. Lizard on a stick. You don't want to eat it now.
Cooked, but I don't think that's really what I said.
Strain the lizard, but it's strain the lizard on a stick. That was the joke I was going for. Alrighty.
Gotcha. You strain the lizard on a stick. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll be back in 5 minutes when Josh's lizard on a stick is empty.
Whee! Alrighty. Say goodbye, Karen.
Sorry, I don't know. See you in a minute.
Now I have ice cream in my sinuses. Vast ahoy and g'day, mateys. We be back. Lovely to see chat going, like, having a conversation about old modem noises. It's a weird day today. Oh, good old 56k modems, eh? Love that sound. My dad told me a story, and we've all got one. Anybody over the age of 30 has this story or variations upon it. Dad was, he got his own personal computer when he became a manager in the 90s, and the head of tech came and set it up for him and said, now this thing has got 4 megabytes of RAM. That is more than you will ever need. How much have I got on my computer now? 16 gig? Admittedly, quite a high-end computer, but still. 4 meg of RAM won't run anything.
Can you get by with how much memory?
Yeah, parts of ours are still on dial-up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when was it your aunt and uncle, who only live in the hills of this town, this city we live in, were on dial-up until, 2 years ago?
Yeah, they got broadband really late. Australia has terrible internet.
Yes. It's behind
Estonia.
Yeah, Estonia has nationally better internet than Australia.
That Australia does.
Yeah.
Woo!
I run a whole business on 2K of RAM.
Wow. What was that
What,
movie
now?
where they ran the spaceship on an iPhone? The Nazis were on the moon and they could run the whole
Iron
spaceship
Sky.
on.
Yeah. They built this enormous ship to invade Earth with, but couldn't fly it because they hadn't got a computer that was powerful enough to do it. I'm like, well, then you're an idiot, and you don't deserve to conquer the Earth. If you can't even power the ship you invented, build a computer, and then build the space. If you can build a spaceship that can get you from the moon to Earth, or heaven forbid, on the from Earth to the moon, then you can build a computer that can run it. I mean... The computer that went there, the computer that they used to get to the space station, to get to the moon in the first place, couldn't run a toaster nowadays.
I love watching Apollo 13 and watching them do maths manually because there wasn't a calculator on the spaceship.
Because it would have been too cold.
Like, they're literally calling Mission Control saying, hey, can you check my maths? Because they're manually working out the maths they need to land a spaceship.
Pets, Ardana, Pets 250 down, 100 up, fiber connection.
Freaking hate you so much.
Whereas we have one of the best internets in the country in this house. Like, we have incredible internet for Australians, and we've got 36 up. No, it's 45 up, 36 down.
On a good day.
45 down, 36 up on a good day. When I first tested it, I was like, Jesus, that's 3 times faster than we had at our previous house. And we are paying the absolute maximum. And we are on the Telstra, which is Australia's,
sort of
leading
national?
Brand, national, but it's not national, it's private, but it was national,
and then it got privatized.
Got privatized for no particularly good reason.
They're like, conservative governments love doing that.
Yeah, selling, basically it got sold to someone in the government's mate.
The reason, part of the reason our broadband is so shit is because the government that was in, which is the more kind of socialist progressive government, wanted to do a really high-tech, top-of-the-range broadband system. It was going to be super expensive, obviously. And then the government's changed and the more kind of fiscally conservative party came in, and they basically only made part of the system fiber, and then it would still be copper wiring to people's houses, which,
bleeds all the quality out of it.
Cheaper, except the whole thing got ridiculously complicated because it was a bad idea in the first place, trying to combine the old and new systems together instead of just installing a completely new system. So now we have trashy internet.
Yep.
And it costs so much money. I think
Ardana says we pay 400 krona a month for their connection, which is around 57 Aussie dollars, which is about what we pay.
For a good connection. I just loved that the Prime Minister at the time was all like, oh, no one needs internet to be that fast, and then got like the absolute best system installed for his like presidential house. Just like, except you don't live stream. You don't play games online. You don't need that connection, Malcolm.
He's like, what would you know, Malcolm? Anyway, so you go, Beryl, you and Oceanus go to a tent and have a lizard that's tail is a stick.
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
Excellent.
It's probably like nothing you've ever tasted, actually. It's smoky.
Ooh, smoky lizard.
Smoky, spicy lizard. It is, yeah. The outside and the inside taste radically different. The inside is a smoky, almost velvety texture to the meat. It's almost gone, it's not liquid, but it almost flows. Crack the outer shell, and it just sort of runs out a little bit. And it's this beautiful, smoky flavored. It's like pulled pork, but without the pull, I suppose is the best way to put it. But the outside is extremely crispy and spicy hot, like tingles on your tongue. And it's served with a shot of a blue fluid. Tiny little shot glass, and it's for sipping. And you...
to cool the palate.
Yeah.
After the chili.
And yeah, it does. It is not minty, but yeah, it tastes like snow on a mountain. The concept of snow on a mountain.
Cool. Also, Twitchy Bishy, how dare you tell me?
2 tabs of Twitch, Discord running, playing Fallout 4 on the other screen, and just did a net speed result. Download 891 megs. Look, we are fine.
We are fine. We're actually got a really good speed tonight.
Yeah.
Like, we're averaging 95 megabits per second tonight.
I was about to test it myself, yeah.
Which is really good for us. That's really good for us.
It's literally 1/10 of what Twitchy Bishy's doing, but yeah.
I was trying to watch
That is
Twitch.
your connection as well, not
That's my
mine.
connection, which is Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was trying to watch Twitch on Tuesday night, and the connection kept dropping out. It's driving me crazy. I wasn't even doing anything else.
But the storm.
There was a very big storm.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Like, I kind of want to poke around into this, and I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. Like, I feel like waltzing up to the council house and, like, being like, hey, yo, what are you doing with the ship's kind of going to be a little on the nose.
He would sit down and eye his blue fluid, like... puts it down again, just sort of... Okay.
Not your sort of thing?
No, I like it. Never tasted anything like it.
It is very odd.
Hmm.
But I like trying new things. I don't know about you.
Coming from such a hot place, I assumed it would be warm. This is.
Yeah. In my head, I'm just going, because, like, at my house, there's what my mum thinks is spicy, and then what my little sister thinks is spicy, and then what is actually spicy.
And then what my husband thinks is spicy.
And then what Josh thinks is spicy. Which blows your face off.
Yeah.
Cool.
As he grows a rainbow tail suddenly.
Oh god, my brain just remembered when we were living in the UK, and this was in 2013, and we had a super cheap internet connection, and it was so much better.
Faster. Yeah.
Than our Australian internet, and that was in
Now.
2013.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stop it. Stop thinking about the
glorious internet we could have had.
Yeah. Oceana says, perhaps they are merely as a defensive measure.
Yeah, I suppose I'm just a little, thinking about the lizard folk and the weapons on the smuggler ship, and I just hope they're not going to go out there looking for trouble,
Speaking as my own people have been at a pretty persistent state of war for several hundred years. It is better to be prepared for when someone comes looking for trouble than to not be.
That is an excellent point, Oceanus. I was probably being a little judgy there, just assuming they were going to do something that's no good. I think it's the old watch officer mindset, you're thinking about how it could go bad rather than how it could go well.
And no one ever sticks a gun on a warship or makes a warship out of a ship that was only ever previously a smuggling vessel, expecting things to go well.
Yeah. Though that being said, they could slap all the guns in that thing if they want. It's not going to be a high-tech fighting vessel anytime soon.
No, but it's a fast little ship.
It's a fast little ship, and it's going to have some bigger harpoons on it.
Which is more than a match for most things in these waters. At least on the top.
Oh. I assume your folk have some interest in underwater defensive mechanisms?
Mechanisms, well, without wanting to go too far into what might be a trait.
You don't have to tell me your secrets.
But no, my people are not highly industrial.
So,
underwater folk, well, it's difficult
creatures?
to smelt metal when you can't make fire.
Oh. You don't like ride sharks or something?
I have been known to ride sharks. But it's hard to domesticate them. They're a bit too clever.
Too clever to consent to being ridden.
You don't want anything between your legs that can think for itself.
No. And horses are damn close sometimes.
What's a horse?
Oh. I've never had to explain it to someone before.
Like a shark?
Not exactly. It's a large. Basically it's an animal that's big enough for like a human or an elf to ride. Like I can ride one, but a pony, which is like a smaller version, would be more my thing.
I see.
And yeah, it's got 4 legs and a long tail.
He's currently imagining something like a Displacer Beast.
Like a short coat, and it has hooves rather than feet. So like a giant fingernail, I suppose. Maybe I should try and draw one.
There's probably some around. He just doesn't know what they're called.
You know what? Let's go for a walk. I'll see if I can find a horse, because I'm probably painted a really bad verbal picture here.
So, there's a wonderful story I learned in art class in primary school, early high school. There's some marvelous pictures by Albrecht Dürer of animals that he never saw. He drew a rhino and what was the other one? A walrus. And there's a picture of a rhino and a picture of a walrus that he drew exclusively from descriptions of sailors who'd seen them. And they're pretty damn good. The rhino looks like an animal with which you would not fuck. It looks like a more armored, an up-armored
Oh my god,
rhino.
it does. It literally looks like it's wearing a suit of armor.
Yeah.
Like it's wearing plate mail.
And in fairness, some rhinos do look like it looks like
Given
slabs.
you've never seen a rhino,
It's good, isn't it?
it's a solid picture.
Yeah. The walrus is, I don't know about better, it's not less accurate, but it's a really good picture. Hang on. Why are we doing this? We should be...
Oh, guys, this is great.
Hang on.
Yeah, show him the walrus, Josh. It's amazing. Like, props to him. He'd never seen a walrus. He was doing it from description. But, like, the rhino looked like a rhino. This looks... like, you'd say it was a walrus, but...
Yeah, it's definitely what it is.
Oh.
There we go. That's not it. That's not the one. That's the rhino. Which, again, pretty damn good. You can see the back end of it. Hang on.
I just put in Albert Dürer walrus picture and got it.
Yeah, no, I found it. It's just finding... There we go. But it's obscured by Beryl and Garret. There he is. There he is.
Like, we interrupt tonight's D&D to bring you Albert Dürer.
Yeah, very talented artist of... I believe he's German originally. I'm just going to pop it over Karen's.
Put it over my face.
That's better. Thing is, I can't drag and drop at the moment. No, where did you go? Let's roll it. Where did you go? Oh, for God's sake. I hate this program. Where it's disappeared. It's
Never mind.
My mouse is well now I need to rebuild it. Dice roller. Where are you? Because now it's just empty. Google search. Thank you. Jesus.
Yeah,
there we go. There you go. That's the walrus one, and down here is the rhino.
It's so good.
The rhino is really good. Animals and Art by Albrecht Dürer.
His rabbit's pretty good.
But he'd seen a rabbit. In fact, that's I believe that's pretty sure that's his rhino.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty good.
Hi, Nelderberry.
Oh, hey, Nelderberry. Good to see you. Computers are hard. Computers are hard, and Stream Elements is particularly difficult when your mouse doesn't want to hold and drag and click. So, yeah, that's fun. Anyway, back to Mano a Mano. I might even leave the animals up there because it's not like we're
rolling a lot of dice.
It's not like we're rolling a lot of dice on them. Oh, you whore.
And bye, Chav Hunter.
Bye, Chav Hunter. See you, buddy. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Sesh.
Ah, yes.
Maybe move it off my face. I'm just saying that.
Have done so. Have done so. And Garrett's missing now. There he is. All right. Cut back. There we go.
That's what we get for trying to share the magic of Albert Dürer with the masses.
Yep. I've just got pictures of rhinos in the middle of the screen. Why not?
Hey! Garrett's back. Okay. Yeah. So,
hey, fam.
I'm going to drag Oceanus out of the Everything on a Stick
festival
beer tent. And I need to find a horse.
Sure. You find a horse. It rides right on up to you, because there is a halfling mounted on it. It's not a particularly big horse. This is a pony.
Oh, this is a pony! Oceanus, this one's a pony. It's the little one. A horse is like that, but bigger. And
yeah, it's a sort of a Shetland pony. It's got the long mane and the long fetlocks.
Cute.
Good word, fetlock. It's a bay with light tan mane and fetlocks and the long swishy tail, and he goes, "Ah, that is not what I imagined. The giant toenail really threw me."
Yeah, sorry, it's the only thing I could think of in the moment.
No, I'm seeing it now. I understand what you meant.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing, but on its foot, you know.
Yes.
Like a little boot.
And the rider waits for you to finish chatting with this blue man in Elvish, and it says, Miss Ingesfury?
Yes.
The council
sorry, I was just trying to explain to my friend here what a horse was.
I've been sent by the council, ma'am. I wonder if you wouldn't mind accompanying me. They have a request of you.
Oh. Do you mind if Oceanus comes with?
Actually, I was sent to find him as well, so this is perfect.
Oh, okay. Great. And I'll basically translate to him and say, yeah, the council wants to see us, if that's okay with you.
Perhaps this would be work. I am all ears. Cool. Yeah. So you do that. They take you to. Well, they actually ride off. They say, "I've got a." They're up at the council house, and you trot off to presumably go and see the council.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll go see the council.
Yeah. You get there, just as this chap re-arrives, sort of shows back up with Garret on the back of his horse.
Oh, hey, Garret.
Hey, Beryl! God, we are important here, aren't we?
Yeah. They keep interrupting your scribing work at this rate.
Oh, actually, I was nearly done.
Oh, I thought you had another day to go after this.
Well, so did I, but turns out I'm really fast.
Oh well, let's see what they want from us now.
Yeah, the door is open for you. The halfling receptionist is there. She is in the process of painting her nails, and looks up as you come in, and everything sort of quickly puts everything away. Hello. Yes. The council will. I'll just let them know you're here.
Well, thank you very much.
She goes up the stairs and bustles back down like 2 minutes later. Saying, they're ready for you. Thank you. You head on up.
I head on up. And I just kind of said to Ocean, I'll translate for you, okay?
I will consider that either you or Eliander, who is there, I will be translating at all times. So don't worry.
Basically, if they're talking, I'll kind of be whispering to him in Elvish.
Yeah. You enter, and slight change in music. Yes, you enter the council chambers. Not particularly big hall. I pictured it, and feel free to correct me because you were the one who built it. I pictured it as not a particularly large room, say probably 20 foot to a side, with a decent-sized table in the middle. I thought I have it in my head as wooden paneling to about waist height. It is called wainscoting, as we learned, around the. But then it is plaster above that in muted woods, dark woods, muted tones. The glass is. The windows are lead lined, not diamonds, but squares on their sides, lead lined little ones, and so fashionable Tudor style building.
I do like good Tudor style building.
What I saw in my head, sort of place Shakespeare would have lived, because we've been to Shakespeare's house, haven't we?
In Shakespeare's house.
Three of the council are there. Gellan Primewater, a proper halfling gentleman who is very dapper and a little effete. Very, very wealthy man. He is one of the lead merchants in town. Ada Oerland, who is an older halfling lady, a former sailor, though a while ago now. She knows her business and is direct but pleasant. Quite well dressed, though not a patch on Gellan. And the third member, and not... You would know, because you've been around a little bit, he is technically on the council, but not a voting member of it. He is on the council because he has an important role within the town, and his word does carry weight. Eliander Fireborn, he is the commander of the town guard, so he has an important role, but he is not elected like the others are. He is in an appointed position, and therefore it is a slightly different relationship. He's quite tall. He is a halfling, but he is quite tall. He's almost Beryl's height, and burly. The big chap. He used to be a soldier of fortune before becoming the commander of the town guard. He retired from it because he lost his leg. He lost it to an owl bear. And he now works on a very finely crafted peg leg. He's older, but not over the hill. And he is the one who speaks Elvish. He's actually quite well known to speak loads of language, including Draconic. He speaks basically every language spoken on this continent and a couple that aren't. They have requested you attend them, and Eleander is there. It would seem partially because he has an interest in the matter, and partially to translate for Oceanus, actually, because it is Ada Oerland that starts, and she says, thank you for joining us. We, the council, has a proposition for the three of you. If you'd care to sit.
Oh, sure. I'll sit down.
We were very impressed with your activities to date, weren't we, gentlemen? And Galen was just sort of, yes. And Eleander's a little bit more effuse with his praise. He says, "Oh, I love a job, actually. I'm very impressed."
Thanks.
Admittedly, you had some help from my guardsmen, but...
Oh, your guardsmen served wonderfully.
Oh, that I know. Those two, very trustworthy as well. They were the right ones to send, and Jilla chose well. I'll be honest, I actually can't even take much of a credit for it, because it was Jilla who made that call.
Well, a good leader knows how to pick good leaders.
Good subordinates. I know, exactly. Thank you. And Ada sort of wrestles control back, and it's like, yes, well, before we...
Stop backpatting, we got stuff to do.
Yes, well, as you may be aware, as you are aware, there were some lizard folk on that ship, the Sea Ghost.
That's correct. We didn't really have a chance to talk with them.
No, and that's fine. That was not what you were contracted to do. Though obviously we would have preferred if we could have gotten a little bit more information there, but that's obviously beside the point.
We were concerned about getting into further fighting while, a little bastarded ourselves.
And a combat between you and the lizard folk would not necessarily have been advantageous to anyone. No. However, our scouts have been out and about the last couple of days, and we have found evidence of a lizard folk camp up the coast to the west. And, well, as you're aware, we don't have a standing military of any sort, really, within Bottledown, or even over at Pig's Landing. And you would be aware, Beryl, that the 3 halfling settlements, the third one escapes my memory, the name of it, but they are loosely, they are broadly speaking allied, but only more of a mercantile alliance than a military one. Halflings are lovers, not fighters. You'll very often find the occasional halfling who is very competent, even militaristic, but as a people, they ain't. And that tends to be respected by other races, to be honest. Far better to trade with the smaller folk, because they make good food and they make good fun, and it's just generally nice. They rarely intrude upon others, and they don't take up that much space, so why bother them? There's always better solutions, and the halflings do tend to find better solutions. So military is just never something they particularly needed, and that might well be why it struck you as a little odd that they were arming a warship. But she says, but we do need to know why they're there, because if they are, and I want to be clear, they're less than a day's travel from Bottledown. And if they were buying weapons in the amounts that you're describing, should they be hostile, we're in trouble.
Yes, that would be the case.
So, your task, if you choose to accept it, is to determine their disposition and intention. They were working against Bottledown. If we are correct in that they were in fact the ones buying the weapons. The weapons being smuggled were not of lizardfolk manufacture.
Mm.
So one can only assume they were buying something from the smugglers, and what use lizard folk would have for silk, I don't know.
The weapons is the obvious choice.
It is, but we don't want to send you in there with any preconceptions or any bias.
Mm.
Particularly as it could get you hurt. But also, we don't want to spark the conflict we're trying to avoid.
So we're not exactly delegates, just exploratory contact?
And at this, Ada looks at Gellin and Eleander and says, "We are not empowered to divest our authority to you in that matter." And you can make an insert roll if you like.
Damn straight I like. 14.
There's definitely more there that they're not saying, but you don't know enough about the internal machinations of these particular politicians and guard commander to know exactly what's going on. More likely, they probably could, but the backlash could be bad. Basically, if they give you their authority and you make decisions that they don't like, they can't then walk them back.
Right. So if I go out there and cock it up, their hands are clean.
Yeah, essentially. It's the... And Oceanus would say, mercenary work. Looks at you meaningfully and says, mercenary work.
Yeah, and I'll respond in Elvish, like, yes, I think so.
And Eleander would say, they don't want to get their hands dirty. In Elvish.
Yeah, I got that feeling too.
And Garret says, I can also speak Elvish, but maybe we should speak Common.
Sorry, just trying to keep all the languages in my head straight, you know? So you want us to go and just approach them, have a chat, see what they're doing out there? Like, if their intentions is just to kind of establish their own little settlement out there, is that something you have a problem with?
No one in Bottledown claims that land. It's swamp.
Oh, right. So it's not like it's prime farmland for you guys.
Hardly real estate anybody's interested in. They're welcome to it as long as their intentions are peaceful. Indeed, we would be welcoming of additional trade, if they're interested. They are welcome to buy weapons from us legitimately. In fact, it would be Gellin who would say that. So let me adjust the voice slightly. They are welcome to buy weapons from us legitimately. I am happy to investigate mercantile contacts. I know the Guildmasters of Eots would be very keen to do so as well. In fact, it would be good if we could make Bottledown a hub for trade in this area. It already is, but we can do so much more. And this is obviously an argument he has made time and again. And Ada isn't against the idea so much, just like, yeah, okay, go on then, do it. Do it already. Stop badgering me about it.
Well, I suppose, like, would you just be sending the three of us?
Well, actually, it would be Eleander. It says, well, what else do you want?
Oh, I was merely inquiring as to whether you'd be sending anyone along with.
No. That is not our
Pop down
intent.
to the swamp and see how the lizards are going.
I would worry that any larger band would be interpreted as a threat.
I follow. And what exactly, am I allowed to say that you sent me? Or would you rather I just say, oh, hey, I kind of...
He would look to Ada for that, and Ada would say, if you believe it would be beneficial to your mission, tell them the truth. The truth is usually the best policy.
Right. So, I don't have any authority, but I do have permission.
Possibly we could, because we are asking an awful lot and not offering an awful lot. There would be payment.
I assumed you were
there would
gonna
be
pay
payment.
me.
There would, of course, be payment. But in terms of just what the instructions we're giving you, gentlemen, perhaps if we told Miss Beryl here that any deals she makes would, of course, have to be ratified by the council, and therefore are provisional, but she speaks with the general understanding of the wishes of the leaders of Bottledown. In that we don't want conflict, we are interested in trade, and an agreement between us and the lizard folk would be our favored course.
And what are the odds that these lizards know that we were the ones that took the ship?
You say you never saw them.
No, they snuck off the boat.
So you never saw them, and they never saw you.
No, but just wondering how I'd handle that if it came up.
Well, you never hurt a lizard folk. And they
No.
never attempted to hurt you. They didn't try to join the fight.
No, but we probably took their money.
You engage in smugglers. You do run the risk of losing out. I don't know enough about lizard folk to know even what their culture would be like, whether or not they understand the concept. They are savages.
I think that's a little harsh. They're not like you, but they have their own ways of doing things. They clearly were able to negotiate a deal with the smugglers.
Oceanus says that the word savages tends to be thrown around an awful lot by the land dwellers when looking at the sea dwellers. And I don't mean that as in that any of us actually take offense at it. It is really just a difference in approach of doing things. The lizard folk are efficient. They're also...
And they're certain very, like, they must be reasonably intelligent because they got out of that boat, and I don't know how the hell they did it.
Well, you were very tired.
I was very tired.
I was also very tired. We were all pretty banged up.
Very tired. May just have walked right past our sleeping asses. Anyway, okay. Are you?
Well, we did stand a watch, Beryl. It's not like we were just letting them walk off.
Oh no. Oh no, we had a watch, but we're all very tired. Anyway, this is getting an argument about how effective we may or may not have been about watching.
Probably in Elvish, because all three of you can speak it.
Yeah. Sorry, we're getting tracked in another language again. I assume you want us to leave soon?
Yes. Why am I doing an Oceanus voice? Yes. Well, as soon as you can. There are a couple of ways you could approach it. The payment, of course, would be 600 gold pieces. Not each, of course. 200 apiece for the three of you. We understand. Oceanus has been helpful enough to inform us of the situation as far as he is aware of it. It could well be, mentioning the lizard folk who escaped your boat, that they weren't even related to these lizard folk. Oceanus tells us of another tribe of lizard folk who recently left the area. Now, these could be different because they aren't the ones, they don't live where Oceanus told us the lizard folk he knew of do or did. So they could be a different tribe. It could be completely separate. We just don't know. And therein, as any merchant or any leader will tell you, not knowing is the most scary part.
Right. So we need to find out if they're the same lizard folk in a different place, whether they've moved, or whether they're different lizard folk, and whether they mean you guys any harm, or whether they're just looking for a place to live. I mean, it's possible that they might be in conflict with this other group of lizard folk then.
Or any of the other aquatic races. There are several. The Coelith, for example, a fearful, disgusting breed. My people are constantly at war with goblinoids, but of the water.
Oh, sounds nasty.
If you imagine, I believe he's seen a land goblin. He says, if you imagine one of your land goblins, but mixed with coral.
Oh, that does sound unpleasant. Well,
yeah.
I can't speak for Oceanus or Garret, but I know I have a couple of things to attend to today. But I certainly would be happy to set off first thing tomorrow.
Well, I reckon I could probably finish up my current job by about midday, and I'd hate to go away like mid-job again, because we don't know how long we're going to be gone. You say it's about a day away. It'll probably be several days' travel, all up. So I could be ready by midday.
Well, if we leave midday tomorrow, we can go halfway before we stop for the night, and then we'll be able to get there reasonably early in the morning and have time to kind of assess the situation. Nothing worse than running into a swamp at night with no idea of what's going on. I tried that once. I do not recommend it. I got mud in some places that mud should not
go. Yeah. Gellin smiles politely, Eleander smiles significantly more warmly, and Ada just nods. And so, you agree to the terms?
Wow. And I'll swap back to Elvish and be like, Oceanus, Garret, are you happy to go on this little adventure?
I am in need of work.
I wonder if lizards folks speak Elvish.
Doubtful. Most of them speak Draconic.
I do not speak Draconic. Do you speak Draconic, Oceanus?
No. Elvish and Aquan for me. Garret?
Garret? Got any Draconic?
No. I just picked... I'm learning Giant.
Right. And I'll swap back to Common and I'll be like, I don't suppose anyone in the guard speaks Draconic. Because none of us actually speak the lizard folk tongue. And like, they may speak Common, but we may get there and not be able to talk to them. Or if you have some sort of a translating spell.
I don't have anyone in the guard who speaks Draconic other than myself, says Eleander. And I'm afraid I can't go. My duties prevent me. I mean, if I was going, I'd just take 5 or 6 guardsmen with me, and that would be it, and we wouldn't really require your service. But that's not the point.
Karen just remembered that you casually introduced me to a dragonborn earlier yesterday.
That was not the intent.
It wasn't? The idea's in my head now.
You could always ask. He's a merchant, but as I described him, he's a merchant, not a warrior, but he looked like he could handle himself.
My duties prevent me. I'm going to swap back to Elvish and be like, it just occurred to me that I may have met a dragonborn yesterday. Garret, you remember Garret?
Oh, yeah, he was great. Yeah.
We could ask him if he could come and serve as a translator. Like, we're going to go to all this trouble and then they're going to speak Common, aren't they? But, as backstop. And, if we kind of, I'm happy to put some of my money towards paying him for his service.
Eleander, who you're speaking in Elvish, so Eleander's the only one who can actually understand you. And Eleander says, Garrock? Ah, yes, the trader.
You know him? Is he trustworthy?
Seems it. I haven't had a huge amount of conversation with him. And then he switches back to common and says, Garrock, the one of the guild masters of Eots. Though I don't believe he's a guild master himself, but a merchant.
Yeah, he's a
and
merchant, but obviously he would speak the same language as the lizard folk.
Gellin says he may well. He is not of this continent. He is from Calderon. And I would be wary of accusing a lizard folk and a dragonborn of speaking the same language. Just the dragonborn may not take it brilliantly.
I'll word it delicately. My point is, if I was
he
to
would
ask
certainly
you
be able to get his meaning across, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Though if they have a leader of some sort, you would hope that at least some of them speak common. But I have no objections to you taking him with you as long as he does not speak for Bottledown.
Oh, no, absolutely. I would still be your mouthpiece, so to speak.
He would just be the translator.
He would be there to translate if we are unable to find a common language.
I see. Well, I have no strong objections, though the fee remains the same, I'm afraid. We simply cannot afford more.
Look, I'm sure the three of us don't mind chipping in a bit to...
Very well.
Make him...
Welcome.
Well, I have to go see a friend of his this afternoon anyway, so I'll see if he's around and if he wants to come with us. I'm prepared to go without him if he's not up for it. To be clear, I'm happy to go and take the chance. But
Eliander says, I could probably write you out a simple phrase book.
Oh, that'd be great.
Dozen or so phrases and their common comparisons. Though Draconic is a very sibilant language, there's a lot of hisses and snarls. It's rather... The pronunciation is a pig, but you would certainly be able to have a good old try. I do have a bardic tongue, I'm sure you'll manage.
I've said some weird things in my time. I'm happy to give it a shot.
Very well. Oh, well, all right then. Look, if you can't acquire his services, then I shall write them up this evening for you. Hell, I'll do it anyway, just in case.
Yes, please do.
In case you get separated or he gets injured or something.
Yeah, I'm still at the Wicker Goat, so if you hand it into the barkeep there.
I'll head over for a pint later.
I'll probably play there again tonight. See if I can get my rat to dance a bit better this time.
Cool. You do that. There is nothing else really more that they need to say. Garret says, this adventure, what, number 4 is it, Beryl?
We're getting quite popular for this, Garret.
I might have to retire from being a scribe.
Well, that's entirely up to you, my friend. But you might want to go finish your scribe work.
I do. I'll go do that. Yeah, I've got some writing to do this evening as well. And he walks off with a positive spring in his step. He's like, the idea of spending his whole afternoon writing and then, for a change of pace, writing in the evening seems to be like, yeah, boy! He's having a brilliant time. So it's a great idea.
Sweetheart. Okay, cool. Well, I'll just basically say, well, I'm going to see if I can go pick up my new armor and see if I can recruit a dragonborn to accompany us. You want to tag along?
Yes, I have nothing better to do.
I know the feeling. And I will wander back to the stall where I found...
Having secured a source of employment, I actually can be a little bit freer with the money I do have. Currently, they're letting me sleep in a cell at the guardhouse.
Oh, well, let me shout you a night at the Wicker Goat tonight. You deserve a proper bed, my friend.
Oh, that's very kind. I'll pay you back out of the earnings. Cool. It's also... very few people here speak Elvish. So you head over, you talk to Captain Zendros.
Zendros? If she's managed to acquire my spectacular outfit armor.
I believe I said her name was Sha'ela. Sha'ela Zendros, and she says, Miss Bell, you're in good form?
Oh, excellent. This is my friend Oceanus.
And this red woman eyes off this blue man, and she just examines him. Now, Beryl, Karen, you created Oceanus, or you were the first to display to portray him. How is he dressed? What does he look like? I did a little bit of like he's got kelp-like hair and his blue-green skin. What's he dressed? What's he wearing? What are you wearing?
I like to think that when underwater he wouldn't wear very much if he wasn't wearing armor.
Yeah. He is wearing leather armor at the moment.
Yes. But, you know, for forays into the human world, he would dress more appropriately.
Right.
So, you know, simple traveling clothes with the leather armor over the top.
Sure. Well, the leather armor would be sort of, I would imagine it's like a
shark skin leather.
Yeah, shark skin leather. So it would be grey. A grey leather vest, but no sleeves. I don't think he's got the sleeves. There might be a single cauldron carved out of a series of shells, or possibly shark bone, possibly 3 shark jaws, the top jaw of a shark skull, layered one on top of another, size, so that it flexes on his dominant arm. I don't know, but you always go your off dominant because he's armed with a trident, so he would be it would be that, and so you would shield that way. And very little in terms of leg armor, other than just probably like shark skin chaps.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Alrighty. Excellent. And barefoot. I don't think he ever wears shoes.
No,
and he's got webbed feet.
Webbed toes. Yeah.
Webbed toes. Not particularly not freakishly long.
No.
They don't look like they'd be brilliant for swimming with. It's sort of like in Waterworld when Kevin Costner's got webbed toes and then swims like a fucking dolphin, and you're like, how is that working? He's got like that much more surface area. Zhoosh! Flies out of the water.
It's Waterworld.
Yeah, it's such a dumb film and I love it.
Oh, like, chat, you should see Josh watching Waterworld. It is hilarious how much Josh loves Waterworld.
It's the boats. I'm a boater. I'm a sailor. I was brought up. I learned to sail when I was 6. I dead set learned to sail a boat before I learned to ride a bicycle. My dad thought it was important, and he was not wrong. I spent all of my childhood sailing, and when that film came out, and the trireme in it, the trimaran in it, the trimaran, and we're just like, Dad took me to the cinema, we watched it together, I was just like, the gas-propelled flying spinnaker, so cool, so stupid. Then Dad found out later that one of those still exists. They built 3 and burnt 2 of them whilst making the film. Most expensive film ever made at the time.
Yep.
Joss Whedon doesn't have a writing credit on it because he didn't want one. He said, do not put my name on this film. They shipped him out. He was like the 6th writer on the film, and they were like, no, do not you put my name on this. I just fixed it because just no one could make it work. Criminally expensive thing to make. Hilarious. Awful film. So good. So stupid. Nerds of the West is raiding! 4th raid of the night! By
all the
golly.
raids this evening. I love it.
We are so very special and popular. Guys, thank you so much for the raid, nerds. Finger guns up in chat. Pew, 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 pew. Now remind me, is it a Reese night tonight? I think it's a Reese night. Pipes in chat if you've got them finger guns. Pew, pew, pew. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, nerds. What were you doing? Guys, if you want a really fun, non-D&D, not always D&D anyway, it was a Reese night tonight.
Hey!
There you go. Nerds. What were you doing? They were playing Just Chatting, okay? I don't understand how you play that.
I wanted to invent a game called Just Chatting, just to mess with
Watching movie trailers tonight.
Ooh.
Nerds, what's the legality, Twitch-wise, on that? Because Karen and I were wanting to, and we're not sure legally whether or not we're allowed to. Were you YouTubing it? If so, are you allowed to do that?
Well, I think you're allowed to do it if,
Don't
like,
know.
you're... like it might be like a fair use thing. So if you're like watching it and like talking and like responding and making it new material.
Yeah, right.
Rather than just, hey, come and watch movie trailers on our channel. That would be my interpretation, but it could be wrong. Because I kind of want to nerd out with a group of people over the D&D movie trailer.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, I really think it might actually be quite good.
Like, I saw it and I was just like, I'm prepared to give this a shot.
Yeah, why not? You know? Could be awful. Could be good. Well, nerds, thank you very much for joining us. I'm just fixing our dice roller.
Trailers are explicitly allowed to be shared, like they're designed to be shared, therefore it's not against copyright to share them.
Okay, there you go. There you are.
Good to know. Well, let's watch the D&D trailer on stream sometime. And
we'll do that another night.
And nerd out really hard.
Mulgrim Moon, welcome, Tony Karlstrom. There you go. What we really need, of course, let's go for Mother of Bunnies, is Households and Husbands 5e. Yeah. Mulgrim Moon, thank you very much for that. Granted, it doesn't stop Twitch's algorithm from not realizing it. Yeah, there is that. But hey, look, if Reese just got away with it all evening, yeah.
We've got a shot.
Yeah.
What's Reese's hot movie pick for the upcoming?
Yeah. What was your favorite one? Tell us. What was the one you reckon we should watch? If you have a single one you reckon you would recommend, what should we watch? Because Karen and I may well have it. Because we have access to my friend's streaming service, Plex, and he torrents. Naughty bad. Well, I'm a pirate. I'm allowed. Dungeons and Dragons 2000. Really? You reckon? Did you watch the trailer for that? Oh, talking about awfully bad movies, awfully excellently bad movies that had a beholder in it and never made anything of it. Oh yeah.
Guys, really? It was so great.
If you
like
want,
Jeremy Irons was in it. You know.
Jeremy, why did you do that? Tell me to the nearest dollar. Like. It's like when Grant Imahara recommended a McDonald's burger. I'm like, wow, have you run out of the money you were getting from Mythbusters already? And then he died, and I'm like, that's why you don't eat Macca's.
I don't think that was why.
No, I don't know why he died.
No, I watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie, the old one, obviously. Not knowing anything about Dungeons and Dragons. And part of me wants to go and watch it again.
Now you know.
Now I know a bit about Dungeons and Dragons.
It's very not related at all.
No, it's basically just a fantasy film.
It's just a high fantasy, but low high fantasy. It's got a beholder in it, as I said, but, you know, there's no Ithalids. There's nothing particularly D&D specific. This is my thing. Like, if you told me it was set in Middle Earth, I'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't know there were beholders in Middle Earth. That would be basically all I would say. Imahara died of a heart attack. Yeah, I seem to recall that as well. Yeah, I think it was a heart attack. He was quite young.
Yeah.
Not much older than I am. Anyway.
What we should do
and then
is watch the old Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, we should do them back to back.
And then go watch the new one. Yes, I do want to know if someone's going to try and seduce a dragon. I want Chris Pine with his freaking mandolin or lute or whatever it is he's got.
Yeah.
Seducing a dragon. That is what I want.
Well, Reese, thank you for the raid. Head off, buddy. Have a good sleep, and yeah, I hope to see you soon, mate.
I also I really want to know if anyone in the cast is actually like into D&D. I feel like Chris Pine would be into D&D.
How though? Like, it also explains why. No, Imahara died of a brain aneurysm. Oh, thanks, Lizelle. I feel better for knowing that, but thank you. There you are. What was I going to say? It does explain why I've been getting at D&D on Twitch a lot, on Instagram a lot, of the picture of the guy from Downton Abbey.
Bridgerton.
Because he's in it. Right, from Bridgerton, yeah, because he's in it.
Jean-Rene Page. He's playing a paladin.
Yeah, of course he is. I'm not sure I spelled that right. Yeah, look, I knew what it was. But yeah, he Yeah, I've been getting a picture of him at least once a day on Instagram, labeled hashtag D&D, and I'm just like, but it's just a picture of him. Normally not doing anything D&D. And I was just like, why? I never watched Bridgerton. I recognize him only a bit, and I don't understand what he's got to do with D&D. Now I know. I'm like, but why not Chris Pine? Why only this guy? He's got a better social media team, I imagine. Yeah. Panther
Maybe
is on
Chris
his way
Pine's
home.
just hashtagged in too many other things.
Partner is on his way home. Siri,
The
see you
dog
later,
is-
Adana, my dear. Take care. Siri, come here. Come here. Come on, baby. Your face is all askew. Your face floof is all askew. Yeah.
She was sleeping under the blanket earlier today. The dog, this is, I should clarify. The dog was sleeping under the blanket. And
Your face fur. Askew.
And yeah, I had a phone call and she heard me talking, so she emerged, just all the floof in different directions.
I woke up with her head on the pillow next to my head. It was very cute.
She doesn't get up when I get up in the morning anymore. I feel very
She doesn't
bad.
get up when I got up. I had a shower, came back, she was still in the bed, like under the covers. I'm just like, it's alright for some, isn't it? Alrighty. Well,
Anyway, leaving aside Dungeons and Dragons movies, which we should definitely watch.
yeah. Thank you very much for the raid, Nodes of the West, pew pew pew, and all that. You're very welcome here. And yes.
Me and Oceana's are going to the marketplace, and we're going to find the tiefling lady.
You found the tiefling lady.
Oh, we found the tiefling
lady. She said hi, and then we got raided.
And then we're talking about what he's wearing. He's got like shark skin leather armor.
That was right. I forgot because I wanted to describe him. And she gives him a look up and down and like examines him and just like raises an eyebrow at the sharkskin leather and says, I am not knowing one of your kind, sir. But she does say it in Elvish. And it's accented and it's not quite the Elvish you know. It's like a sub dialect.
Yeah, like Swiss German versus German.
Sure, yeah. And he responds, I am a sea elf. You probably sailed over us to get here. And she says, oh, no offense was meant by it. My kind are not common in these lands either. You mind? Like not to tell. I will woof. Can you hear the noises? Can you? Okay. Yeah, she says, you have returned, Miss Beryl.
Yes. Two things. Wanted to follow up on our little conversation yesterday, and I also wanted to ask you about...
Garret is there.
I suppose the situation's come up. Do any of your crew, you or your compadres, speak Draconic by any chance?
Garret, your friend has come back.
Because I've got a little job that I'm going on tomorrow. Probably take a couple of days. And there's a chance that we might need someone who speaks that language.
How good a chance. And Garret comes out of there's a small stand tent in blue and white. Same deal, but it's not very big. It's not much larger than like a gazebo that you would put up in your back garden sort of thing. He comes, sort of stoops out of it and emerges like, hello. And it says, how good a chance?
Well, there'll be some lizard folk there.
Ah. I do not speak this particular dialect, but I could probably... How far away are we talking?
Well, apparently we're leaving the middle of the day tomorrow. Apparently it's less than a day's travel, so we're going to go halfway tomorrow and then finish the day after and hopefully make contact. Essentially...
How are we traveling?
On foot. I want to be clear. You are under no obligation to agree to do this whatsoever. No pressure. This is us reaching out on behalf of the council to contact these lizard folk.
This is a favor for the council.
Yeah, sort of a friendly, neighborly, hey, we know you're here. We hope you're not here to cause trouble sort of a deal.
I see. So the council is concerned that these lizard folk are here and do not know why.
Well, yeah, they kind of just turned up and, like, they don't want trouble with them. If anything, they'd be looking to trade with them.
And he looks meaningfully at Captain Zendra. And, does any trade friend of Bottledown is a trade friend of ours, potentially?
Well, I thought that as well. You know, you being a trader, you being traders, it might be beneficial for you to have contact with them as well. And I suppose my concern was, like, the head of the guard is writing us out, you know, a few phrases that we can take with us. But if they don't speak any of the languages we speak, we may be at a bit of an impasse, so to speak. Like, you don't have to come. There is payment involved. But if you want to, if you're free.
May I inquire the mana and amount?
It's 600 gold split 4 ways. You can do the maths.
He does do the maths, and comes to a sum he likes. About 160?
I think so.
No, it's 150. What are you talking about, Joshua? 150 a head. Idiot.
150 a head.
Yeah. He says, and for a mere 600 gold pieces, they would not be offering to even take you there. I understand that they have just acquired a new vessel.
Yeah, I get the feeling, and, you know, don't go spreading it around. I get the feeling they want to make contact in a semi-unofficial way, so if it doesn't pan out the way they were planning to, they can blame me.
Understand.
But if they do blame me, I can go. So, you know.
You can leave and no harm, no foul.
Yeah, and,
well,
you know,
only
they
a small amount of harm.
A small amount of harm. Like, they didn't, like, if they are the same lizard folks that were hiding on the ship, they didn't try to attack us or anything. They just snuck off. So
you shared that information, did you? You have now. Okay.
I have now.
Cool.
Oh, to clarify, that boat we brought back, there was some lizard folk hiding in one of the cabins, but they didn't, like, try to come out or anything. They just snuck off the boat and disappeared. So
I see.
Don't know if they're the same lizard folk, but if they are, they weren't aggressive or nothing. They just left.
Right.
So there's a lot of question marks about all of this. Like, I think the odds of us being able to, like, go in there and just talk to them without coming to any great harm are reasonably good. Particularly because we're a bit of an odd group of fellas, so they might be curious.
All right. Well, Zendra, can you deal without me for a few days? We shall make do for a potential other trading route, and if you're wanting to see if these people are friendly, then yes, of course.
Just saying, if you guys do have a good language in common, that might well give you an advantage over anyone else looking to trade with them.
Yes, this had occurred. Just finishing the touches to a special organization in my homebrew world where the guards in this place are all intelligent mimics. They won't eat people unless they cause trouble, and at the front door there's a sign that says no town guard will enter this place to stop fights or anything. So think of the Continental from John Wick. Ah!
Heck yes!
But normal people can come and talk and do trades, but if you cause trouble, you will meet force with force. Just need to use mimics from none.
Not 5e.
Not 5e, as there are no intelligent mimics and no super high level. Yeah, alright.
That's cool.
Very cool. Like that, Chav Hunter. That's very cool. Alrighty. So yes, you make the deal. And then Captain Zendra says, I have news on the front of your purchase.
Ah, excellent.
It has been procured. It is currently under construction. Should be done by midday tomorrow.
Well, isn't that good news? Well, how about I swing by here around midday and
Acquire it.
And yeah, I mean, I'll probably be playing at the Work a Goat tonight if any of you want to come and have a dance.
I may well like that, yes.
Again, no pressure.
Garret says, I think we should always be taking in new cultures.
There's no food on a stick, but they do a pretty good stew, so.
Well, what do you say, Zendra? And Zendra smiles, and they do pop in later. Garret does not, and Oceanus sits in a corner and watches your performance.
I'll sing at least one song in Elvish for his benefit.
Oh, that gets a reaction from him, because I was about to say, most of it is just, he likes the melody. You notice a foot tapping a bit, a couple of times. And there is a small smile on his face when Ratness comes out. Do you want to roll to see how well she dances?
Ratness does?
Zarkana.
That is an 8. So.
Ratness's dancing has not improved.
It's more of a novelty
this time
than
around,
skill.
it's the rat just sort of capers around. You've got a rat the size of a beagle jumping around your feet. Not even trying to dance this time. Everyone's just like, the fuck's going on? You do that just as Garrick and Zendra come in and have a pint. They initially just stand at the bar, and then they see Oceanus sitting off on his own in the corner and join him. Both of them Elvish. So they're chatting away, and when you finish your set, you go have a couple of drinks, and then everybody goes to sleep. Following morning, you pick up your swanky new +1 armor. It winds up costing you 340 gold pieces all up. So we'll take that off your total. You still have 210 left. And Zendra says, and I shall see what I can do next couple of weeks. What we might find for.
I'm sure you have many interesting things.
As you are about to earn a little bit more coin, I will see what we can do. Garret and Oceanus are well rested. Garret arrives, putting his new ring on, and he says, "What do you reckon, Garret? What do you reckon, Beryl?" And holds it up to you, and flashing in the early morning light, you can see a new rune has been carved on it.
What does that one mean?
He says, "This is the rune of giant calm."
Ooh. Does it do anything?
I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, I could always try it now.
Maybe not in the middle of the market.
Good idea.
Maybe save it till we're out of town, you know?
And I think we'll leave it there.
As this very odd group of
It's like a standard group of adventuring party, to be honest. You've got an elf, a dwarf, a halfling, and a dragonborn. All you need is a variant human, and you've got yourself a party. Probably a cleric. That's what you're missing.
Speaking of the Dungeons and Dragons, the new movie, I do love it where like he also plays the lute, and then just cut to Chris Pine just prancing along. I'm just like, yes.
Alrighty, well, guys, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, we need to do our favorite moments. And we've got a few. Anybody in chat has favorite moments as well, you are very, very welcome, and even strictly encouraged to throw them up there. Let us know the favorite bits. This is something we borrowed from the Dreaded GM. It's something we like to do at the end of our streams to acknowledge where we did well. Because it's always nice to do that. So, yeah, we're going to do that, and we always talk about the player first. So, Karen, I need to do some favorite moments for you. My favorite Beryl moment. Actually, the curveball you threw me today, and my favorite moments tend to be where I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, I'm going to have to make that shit up. The first thing I really liked was your interest in the Dragonborn. You're like, well, you cannot drop a Dragonborn dressed like a genie on me and I'm not just going to pick up on that. So I really enjoyed that. And then when you brought him back into it, and you're like, I need someone who speaks Draconic. And I just met this Dragonborn guy. Perfect. And I
love that you didn't intend for
did not
me
mean
to
that.
do that.
I was literally just making up two other strange-looking people. And you went with it. Yeah. Whoops. So yeah, that would be my favorite Karen moment. Was putting 2 and 2 together, getting 4, and it was not what I meant.
Like we both were getting 4, but different 4s.
Different 4s. I was intending to just send you out there with a small book of phrases. This is the joy of D&D. This is the joy of collaborative storytelling. So yeah, that was my favorite Karen moment. What was your favorite Karen moment, Karen?
I always find the silliest things are my favorite moments. I love trying to explain what a horse was.
Yes. I did enjoy that as well. And in fact, that actually would lead me neatly into my favorite me moment. My favorite me moment was probably Oceanus. Just culture shock, not knowing what shit was. I had a couple of favorite me moments, but that was very fun. That was like a single favorite moment would be horse.
God, how do I explain this?
And him being all coy about what his people do and don't do. And it's like, I have ridden a shark, but I don't like it. They're too clever, really. I don't like anything between my legs with a mind of its own. That got a snort from Ardana in chat. I saw that happen.
The lizard on a stick was the other.
The lizard that is a stick. Yeah.
I just think of I think it's Spirited Away.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Go on. What do they call? I think they said it was skink.
Yeah.
But she has the stiff skink that everyone wants to eat.
Yeah. Definitely. I really enjoyed, because that is something that is a real thing in City of Chalderon, is the international everything. I can't remember exactly what it was called. It wasn't everything on a stick, but yeah, stick food festival on a food on a stick festival. And yeah, there was some. I had a ball. It wound up being an entire 3.5-hour session, just that festival, just the players just wandering around eating weird shit. There was a selection of cheeses all on sticks. That the wolf-born mouse, he was an awakened mouse that got smushed. I've told the story of Johan before. That got smushed in with a potion of werewolf kind and became this weird sort of rat wolf hybrid thing that we homebrewed a warlock class, and his patron was basically all wolves, or just the concept of a wolf is his patron, and he was just this mutant rat thing that was just terrifying to behold, like a Skaven, but in a world where no one knows what a Skaven is. And he and Christopher, the cute little human boy, just wandered around just trying different food on sticks. I had a ball. I need to dig up the recording of it, because I did record that session. Dan Swelter was in that session.
Oh yeah, he was! Yeah,
he was in that game. He was playing a guy who had recently become a vampire.
That's right.
Great Scott, 1847. Or G. Scott, 1847, but I'm going to say Great Scott. Great Scott! It's one of my favourite, particularly English phrases. Chaotic Platypus, good to see you, mate. Ruffle or what? Exactly. Well, there's our favourite moments. That was fun and splendid. So we should probably go away from here now, because we've been streaming for a while.
We do want to do some DM moments.
Didn't we do a favourite DM moment?
Don't think so. No, I don't think we did.
All right, then. Well, tell me your favourite moment. I thought you said my favourite. No, I said my favourite moment was me, Oceanus's What's a Horse?
Oh, yeah.
I also enjoyed having, whenever I'm forced to make up bullshit, so all of the Chalderon stuff. Yeah. Definitely my favourite me moments. Fun Forced to make it
We
bullshit.
sort of did it. We just didn't do it
We did. I just
officially.
didn't specify that it was DM favorite moments. Yeah, because you said your favorite moment was favorite DM moment was the skink on a stick. That is a stick. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Great Scott, thank you for the follow. And we should go away from here now. So. Guys, we need to chuck a raid over to somebody. Mike Moans is streaming, and he's a bloody champion who raided us a little while back. So we should probably drop a raid on him.
And he's doing some of the old D&D.
I believe he's probably painting, because that's what Mike does. It is a splendid Instagram follow as well, if you're looking for a good daily, just a cool piece of mini painting. The guy, like, I'm a good painter, Mike is next level. Like, I'm an award-winning painter, but Mike is next level. We shall chuck a raid over there, but we do have a few things to discuss first. Karen, tell us about Ukraine.
Ukraine, not having the best year.
No.
Full of Russians, bit of an issue, and a lot of Ukrainians have had to flee Ukraine, and becoming a refugee comes with a whole ocean of problems that you then have to deal with. So to try and help with that, a number of charities and not-for-profits have created the Emergency Action Alliance. The link in chat is for their appeal, where you can donate to help provide resources for refugees who have fled the violence. They have raised over $4 million. I haven't actually checked recently to see how much higher it's gotten. It was over 4 million last time I looked.
Well, while you have a look, yes, if you have any pennies in your digital wallets, it'd be freaking awesome of you.
We're up to $4.3 million raised.
Pretty good.
Which is
but we could
good.
do better.
But I think there was 11 million refugees last time I checked the numbers.
That was a while back I checked, yeah.
It's a lot, and it sucks.
Lot.
And yeah, if you can afford to donate something, please feel free to go across and do so. You'd be a great person for doing that.
You would. We also have all the socials. You can check us out on our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Twitter. We have a Discord where we share cool things that we homebrew and generally have a cool place to hang out, talk D&D stuff. There are pet pics, there are good memes up there now. It's starting to get a little bit more lively now as more and more people join us. And we have our YouTube, which is pretty much up to date. I'm getting quite good at it, as in I've been quite good at it for a while, but I'm now uploading all the Tactics Tuesdays, at which point it would be like completely up to date. I hadn't bothered with them before because I'm just like, it's just me, who wants to just look at my face? But a lot of people have actually asked for it, so I have started putting them up. Other than that, we should talk about ourselves, Karen. Who the absolute heck are you?
I am Karen. I am sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. On Twitch, and you can follow me over on Twitter, where I retweet bunny pictures and other random stuff that catches my attention. I tweeted a video of a wren singing today. It's a little bit of a palate cleanser for Twitter. So you can listen to a wren singing. Oh, very cute. Yes, I follow a lot of bunnies on Twitter. Bunnies and other D&D people. It's good fun. If you would like to get to know my saucy alter ego, Miss Lola Moore, you can follow that over on Instagram. Or you can listen to my dulcet tones on the D&D 5e podcast, There Be Dragons, where I play a dragonborn, a silver one, called Ryland Westfall, who is a badass warrior with a big axe, who hits things with it very hard.
And Mesdames and Monsieur, Damen und Herren and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I be Josh the Pirate, and I run this channel, Corsair's Cove, with me lovely lady wife, the mother of bunnies, and we do D&D stuff here. But you know that because you've come already and you've joined and you've smashed the follow button. A lot of you have this evening. It's been splendid of you, and we're very grateful. So keep doing that, and yeah, stick around and join us for more wacky D&D adventures. This one's, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Crafting, bye! Yeah, no, we were about to raid Mike, but he's gone. Yes. He's just finished, so we're going to have to raid Phoenix instead. But thank you for joining us. Yeah, we've just finished another one of our Mano Manos, the first of a new season. So thank you for joining us. Nice to see you. Nice to say hi. But yeah, we do that. This will be the next several Thursdays. We are going to hopefully have a Table Talks next Wednesday. Instead of One Shot Wednesday, we'll be having a Table Talks because Brendan can't do Thursdays at the moment, but hopefully he can do a Wednesday and we can have a debrief about Monsters and Magic. And Monday night we'll be back for more Humblewood of Midnight and Madness. They are now in Barovia and dealing with the whole Strahd situation. Strahd the Batfolk, because this is the Humblewood version of Barovia, set in my Humblewood world, which is part of my Joshiverse. Pirateverse? Tovyverse? I don't know. I like Joshiverse, actually.
Joshiverse is fun.
Because the Phoenix has got the Wackyverse. And I was like, that makes sense. That one's cool. The Joshiverse is silly. And I've only got 2 worlds in it currently. And a bunch of, like, demi-planes. Thank you for the stream, Chaotic Platypus. You are very welcome for the stream, my friend. This one is a bit of a different one because it's just Karen and I, so we can just go off on random tangents and just chat with the audience. It's good fun. We enjoyed it. Then Tuesday night, back for more Tactics Tuesday, doing a bit more home brewing. I am home brewing a 5e version of Battletech. So 5e rules for mech warrior combat. Hell yeah. Utilizing lore from the Mech Warrior universe so it is consistent and you can play in the Mech Warrior universe without infringing on that lore, which I'm quite up on, so that's quite fun. I will also be over on Friday night on Ardana's channel for more In Between, which is, up until recently, a 1v1 campaign as well. It's now a 2v1 because I'm there. And I'm playing a Copper Dragonborn. Loads of Dragonborns here. We like Dragonborns. Copper Dragonborn called Ada. Ada is a Copper Dragonborn Barbarian 1 Sorcerer 2. Weird cross-class, and it actually really works. She's really good in combat, but she's also really good out of combat. And on Sunday night, because I'm a whore, I will be over on Eldritch Scribe, playing more D&D, high-level D&D combat, high-level D&D game. There, we're in one of the 7 hells. Fighting devils into Osiris over there with Des and Nelderberry, who has been in chat, and Raph as well. So that's all very exciting and fun. I can also be found in the podcast There Be Dragons, where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Skaen Felspar und his little dragon, Rosh. I think that's about it. That's all we need to say. So we should fuck off now. We should go and raid Phoenix. Yay!
Theoretically, the only... Oh, do we have something happening every day next week? Because I just realized you're streaming...
Sorry? Saturday, I sleep.
Because, you'll be on Eldritch Scribe on Sunday.
Yeah.
We've got Humblewood.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, Tactics Tuesday, Table Talk on Wednesday, 1v1 on Thursday, and then Ardana on Friday.
You can find my face on the internet every day between Sunday and the next Saturday. Friday. You'll be able to find my face on the internet all the time. And if you need it, if you need that Josh the Pirate face fix on Saturday, you can go and listen to our YouTube, or you can listen to There Be Dragons. You can get the voice, but you can get the majestic voice, but just yeet the face away. Yeah. So we will go and raid Phoenix Iwaki now. I will play a quick ad, and then we will just jump straight on over there. So when you get there, throw up your favorite raid emotes in chat. Tell Phoenix where you came from. If you've got our Goose Raid, our fearsome Goose Raid, the Arthur Goose Raid, throw that one up in chat. If you don't, throw any raids you've got up there. He lets you use his raid emote, so you can let those phoenixes fly as we go and raid Phoenix Iwaki. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and good night. Say goodbye, Karen.
Bye, guys. Take care.